Chapter 26:16. Yes, I shall take them down. Up until now, I've already captured 7 high gods. With you and Zhuang Yuhe, we can set up the 9 underworld's blood sacrifice array. Hua Yumiao's tone was cold. During the battle with Zhuang Yuhe, he summoned a middle-level divine, Lord Otherworldly Demon. The other 3 people fighting with Night Sorrow each summoned a low-level divine, Lord Otherworldly Demon. Their scheme was to control the 9 high gods, and then set up a blood sacrifice formation to break the seal. This was an extremely evil method that was close to success. 9 underworld's blood sacrifice array? You're thinking too much. Don't think that you can do anything with the help of the otherworldly demons. Others might be afraid of the otherworldly demons, but Night Sorrow was not afraid at all. He had the power of merit and was the nemesis of such evil spirits. Furthermore, after the battle with the peerless genius Wu Li, Night Sorrow suddenly felt that the strength of Hua Yunmiao and the rest was not enough. The 4 of them together with the 4 otherworldly demons were probably not as strong as Wu Li and his mount. Do you think that you and Zhuang Yuhe, who has lost his battle strength, can resist the 4 of us and the 4 divine lords? Hua Yunmiao said confidently. In his opinion, his side had the absolute advantage. Otherwise, he would not have exposed his identity. The 4 divine, Lord Otherworldly demons were his greatest reliance. Blind confidence. I'm talking about you. Just divine, Lord Otherworldly demons. I'll fight as many as come. Facing Hua Yunmiao's strength, Night Sorrow laughed disdainfully. With such strength, it was laughable to be so arrogant in front of him. Night Sorrow, Hua Yunmiao, and the rest are not to be underestimated, especially the otherworldly demons they summoned. Their battle strength is astonishing. Night Sorrow looked indifferent. Zhuang Yuhe, who was already heavily injured, reminded him. In the previous battle, he had suffered quite a bit and was heavily injured. Furthermore, he did not have the chance to heal himself during the battle. Currently, his battle strength had been halved. Brother Zhuang, your injuries are severe. Why don't you enter my spatial artifact to recuperate? Leave these people to me. As he spoke, Night Sorrow brandished the heavenly Samsara halberd and forced Hua Yunmiao, who was attacking Zhuang Yuhe, back. As far as he was concerned, there was utterly no need for Zhuang Yue's help to deal with Hua Yunmiao and the others, and he alone was sufficient. Brother Yi, are you completely confident? Upon hearing Night Sorrow's words, Zhuang Yue's face was filled with uncertainty. Of course I'm confident in dealing with a bunch of trash like them. Night Sorrow looked sharply at Hua Yunmiao. When he said this, Hua Yunmiao's face was filled with killing intent. Then I'll believe in Brother Yi just this once. Night Sorrow was the virtuous feather god, so he wouldn't joke around with his life. Zhuang Yuhe gave up resisting. One roar shaking the mountains and rivers. After putting Zhuang Yuhe into his spatial artifact, Night Sorrow immediately executed the green rock, soul-rending roar in a 1 versus 8 situation. This was an extremely powerful group attack. With one roar, the mountains and rivers shook. Hua Yunmiao's 3 junior brothers were all stunned on the spot. Their strength was a few levels lower than Mengdu's, so they naturally couldn't withstand Night Sorrow's attack. Second roar shattering heaven and earth. After succeeding with one attack, Night Sorrow didn't give Hua Yunmiao and the others a chance to catch their breaths as he roared out the second move. The strength of Hua Yunmiao's 3 junior brother souls simply couldn't withstand this level of attack, and their spiritual seas were completely shattered. The 3 of them didn't even have a chance to retaliate before they were instantly killed. The extraterrestrial demons that they had summoned instantly vanished without a trace. As for Hua Yunmiao, who was slightly stronger, he felt dizzy and his spiritual sea trembled incessantly. Raging flames subduing demons. To execute the green rock, soul-rending roar, one needed to execute the Treyastrimsa battle mystic technique. Night Sorrow felt that there was no need for that. He used the heavenly Samsara halberd and struck Hua Yunmiao with raging flames. Hua Yunmiao, whose spiritual sea was already trembling, was burned by the flames of the ancestral phoenix feather. Instantly, his spiritual sea was destroyed, and he became a cripple. The four people's spiritual seas were shattered in the blink of an eye, and Night Sorrow didn't even break a sweat. Zhuang Yuhe, who had seen everything, said in a trembling voice, "Brother Yi, your strength, the speed at which you are improving is a little too exaggerated. Before entering the battle of the High Gods group, I even swore that I would protect you. Now that I think about it, it's really laughable. I was lucky enough to break through to become a mid-level High God, and my strength increased a little." As Night Sorrow explained with a smile, he seized the four people's spatial artifacts and released the 7 High Gods from Hua Yunyao's spatial artifact. "Night Sorrow, this time it's all thanks to you. Otherwise, we would have been sacrificed." After being released, Mu Qingyu immediately said emotionally, "Thank you for saving our lives." The 6 people from the other sects bowed to Night Sorrow one after another. If it weren't for Night Sorrow's strong intervention, they would have been sacrificed to break the seal of the Divine King, level Heavenly Demon. Hua Yunyao and the others' plot was easily broken by Night Sorrow, so they were really grateful. The disciples of these clans had originally looked down on the Tianyan clan, but at this moment, their views had completely changed. This was the respect that Yishang had earned with his strength. There's no need to be so polite. The 7-sect great competition should end in a few days, but I think that everyone is injured, so it's better to leave together. Night Sorrow said in a deep voice before continuing, "Compared to this great competition, I think the most important thing right now is to go back and explain the matter of Soaring Heaven Sect to the various sect masters and sect masters. Yes, Soaring Heaven Sect colluded with the Heavenly Demon. When I return to Tianqing Gate, I will immediately ask the sect master to punish them." Tsing Yudi of Tianqing Gate said with a face full of anger. Being captured by Hua Yunyao and almost being used as a blood sacrifice made her feel extremely humiliated. "I will also report to the sect master. This time, Soaring Heaven Sect has definitely touched the taboo of the God Realm. Only destruction awaits them." Zhuang Yuhe said and suggested, "Why don't we all crush the transfer crystal together? There's no point in continuing to fight in this situation." "Good, but let's crush the transfer crystal first. All the points will go to Brother Yi." After Zhuang Yuhe said that, someone immediately crushed the transfer crystal and left the immortal cloud-sealed realm. After him, the others also left one after another. When only Night Sorrow and Zhuang Yuhe were left, Night Sorrow said with a smile, "I'm only worth 1 point. Brother Zhuang, you can reluctantly accept it." After saying that, without waiting for Zhuang Yuhe to respond, Night Sorrow crushed his transfer crystal and returned to the square of Tianqing Gate. "Night Sorrow, what happened in the cave mansion just now? I can't see the image of that time." Lu Qing'en, who flew over, asked with concern when Night Sorrow's figure appeared on the transfer array. For disciples of Soaring Heaven Sect joined forces and attacked the disciples of other sects. They wanted to control the 9 people and arrange the 9 nether blood sacrifice array to save the sealed Divine King, level Heavenly Demon. But they were already killed by me, Night Sorrow said casually. Chapter 26:17. Night Sorrow, well done. Did you leave any evidence related to Soaring Heaven Sect? Lu Qingyuan continued to ask. I found some evidence in their spatial artifacts. Moreover, only their souls were shattered. Their bodies haven't completely lost their vitality. Experts can use space-time backtracking. Night Sorrow explained. During the battle, just now, he thought that the image crystal could be used, so he didn't take out the crystal he carried to record the battle. And that's one way. Lu Qingyuan nodded and continued. In fact, even if we don't have evidence, this time, our 6 great sects are prepared to besiege Soaring Heaven Sect and demand an explanation from them. If they can't explain the matter of the Heavenly Demon, Cloud Immortal Continent will have one less super sect in the future. Good. When dealing with cultivators like them who have lost their bottom line, we should use the strongest means possible. Night Sorrow nodded in agreement. At this time, Si Kongxiang ran over and gave Night Sorrow a big hug, excitedly saying, Brother Yi, congratulations on winning the High God group. You also led our Tianyun school to win first place. Congratulations, congratulations. You are the new pride of our Tianyin school. Mei Ruoxue also stepped forward and gently hugged Night Sorrow. Ho Qingshan, Yin Zheng, and the others also did the same. They weren't jealous of Night Sorrow at all. Haha, thank you everyone. When today's matter is over, let's celebrate with the people from the other sex. Night Sorrow said with a smile. With the hidden danger of Soaring Heaven sect, they weren't in a hurry to leave Tianqing Gate before they had a good plan. Good. Everyone can drink to their heart's content. Our Tianyin school was able to win the double champion of the Feather God group and the High God group because of Night Sorrow's contribution. Everyone, let's have a few drinks with him. Lu Qingyuan said solemnly. Night Sorrow, thank you. Not only did he bring the championship to Tianyin school, but he also brought respect to the sect. The gate master of Tianqing Gate, Tan Xingfeng, had been very easygoing when he came into contact with Tianyin school in recent days. He was not as dictatorial as he used to be. This obviously had something to do with Night Sorrow. As a member of Tianyin school, this is what I should do. Night Sorrow and Lu Qingyuan exchanged pleasantries before sending a voice transmission to the divine King Zhuangqing. Thank you, Divine King, for your green rock soul-splitting roar. It's a very powerful AoE attack for me. Haha, I'm already satisfied that you can use it. It's been many years since someone has been able to perfectly control the Azure Rock soul-rending roar. The divine King Zhuangqing was in a good mood. This time, Tianyin school was not only proud and elated, but also gradually showed a kind of invincible spirit, which made him very happy. All right, everyone please be quiet. Right at this moment, Liang Shijun, the vice head of the Tianqing school, cleared his throat and said, after serious and strict calculation, the results of the God group for the 7-sect grand competition are in my hands. Now, let me announce the final results of this tournament. After saying this, Liang Shijun began to read the results. Without a doubt, Night Sorrow won the individual championship, and Tianyin School won the team championship. Night Sorrow and Tianyin School also received the baptism of the origin of Yinxian continent. After receiving the baptism of the origin, Night Sorrow's power of good karma became even stronger. This might have benefited from his handling of the extraterrestrial demons. After the awards ceremony, Tianqing Gate, as the host, directly held a celebration banquet at the main peak of Tianqing Gate, Tianqing Peak. During the banquet, the other younger generation were arranged to eat outside the Tianqing Palace. Only Night Sorrow was invited to the Tianqing Palace to have a banquet with the other sect masters and elders. Night Sorrow, this time you have written the most colorful chapter in the history of the 7 Sects tournament. On behalf of Tianqing Gate, I would like to congratulate you. Tan Xingfeng raised his wine glass and toasted Night Sorrow. At the same time, I would also like to thank you for successfully rescuing Yu Dai and the others, and also for resolving the crisis in the Immortal Cloud's secret realm. You are too kind, Gate Master Tan. This is what we cultivators should do. Night Sorrow raised his wine glass and drank it in one gulp. At this moment, Tan Xingfeng clapped his hands and said, "Come in." Then, a young and beautiful female disciple carried a tray and walked in front of Night Sorrow. What is this? On the tray, there was a palm-sized black block that looked like a stone or iron. Night Sorrow could not tell what it was and asked curiously. This is a gift from Tianqing Gate to Night Sorrow as a thank you gift, Tan Xingfeng said politely. As the gate master of Tianqing Gate, when he spoke to Night Sorrow, he even seemed to be half a head shorter. You're quite a flexible person. Originally, Night Sorrow hated Tianqing Gate and Tan Xingfeng very much. But now, seeing that the other party had chosen to give in, he did not care so much. However, he really did not understand the thing in front of him, so he continued to ask, "What is this thing?" Night Sorrow, the thing in front of you is very unusual. It is also known as the Dominator Stone, and it is priceless. It is a treasure used to refine Dominator divine artifacts. This time, Tianqing Gate can be said to have bled a lot. The leading elder of the Starry Sky Pavilion explained immediately. What? It is a Dominator material? What does Tianqing Gate mean by this? Even with Yishang's meticulous mind, He could not understand why Tianqing Gate would give away such a priceless treasure. He hurriedly refused. Gate Master Tan, this Dominator Stone is too precious. Night Sorrow has no reason to accept it. Huh. Little friend Night Sorrow is too polite. The Dominator Stone is the most appropriate thing to give to a genius with the potential to become a dominator. Don't refuse. Although such a thing is very valuable, we have no chance to use it. Tan Xingfeng said with a smile, putting Night Sorrow in a very high position. Seeing that Night Sorrow did not accept the Dominator Stone, he continued, Cloud Fairy Continent is facing constant internal and external troubles. Next, we will carry out a crusade against Soaring Heaven Sect. This may attract the crazy revenge of some otherworldly demons. You have the power of virtue, so you may be the backbone of future expeditions. It is not excessive to give you any resources of the 7 great sects. Since Gate Master Tan says so, Night Sorrow will accept it. In the future expeditions, I will do my best. Tan Xingfeng was also a genius. In Yishang's mind, if Soaring Heaven Sect was not eliminated, it would be a big disaster for the stability of Cloud Immortal Continent. With his strength, he had no problem dealing with Divine Monarch Realm otherworldly demons. But against the Divine King, it was useless. He really needed to use the Dominator Stone. Night Sorrow did not refuse. He took the Dominator Stone and put it into his space artifact. He asked, when are we going to attack Soaring Heaven Sect? To what extent? Speed is crucial in war. I mean to cut the Gordian knot. Chapter 26:18. I feel that doing so is completely killing the innocent. Moreover, the extraterrestrial demons may infiltrate other sects because of this. In the end, we can't kill all the sects of the Cloud Immortal Continent, right? Night Sorrow said. He was the least experienced among the people present, but his words carried a lot of weight. After all, this time, Night Sorrow suppressed all the heroes and showed everyone his talent. Even those who had a grudge against him did not object to him taking the seat. Tan Xingfeng heard Night Sorrow's words and thought for a moment. He said worriedly, in fact, everyone understands a principle, but evil creatures like the extraterrestrial demons are like maggots in the bones. As long as they appear, it is extremely difficult to kill them. This is the biggest problem. I cultivate the power of virtue. As long as the extraterrestrial demons appear, even if they're disguised, I can sense them. Night Sorrow explained, as long as we take down Soaring Heaven Sect, they will definitely have no place to hide. As for killing everyone in Soaring Heaven Sect, it will be against the harmony of the heavens. There is no need to do so. He cultivated the power of virtue and did not want to cause too much killing. That would go against his conscience. Since little friend Night Sorrow has a way to find the extraterrestrial demons and those who have defected, there is naturally no need to kill. Tianqing Gate's sect master Tan Xingfeng said and asked, what about the other sects? What do you think? As the host, he felt like he was giving orders, but the current situation was special, so no one cared. My heavenly martial pavilion swears to fight the extraterrestrial demons to the death. The leader of the Heavenly Star Pavilion had returned to the sect and reported that Soaring Heaven Sect had colluded with the extraterrestrial demons. Elder Mei Xinyue, who replaced him, said something to express the Heavenly Star Pavilion's attitude. My Heavenly Immortal Sect will not sit idly by and do nothing to the extraterrestrial demons. Immediately after, the people of the Heavenly Immortal Sect stood up. They were not inferior to men at all. After the Heavenly Star Pavilion and the Heavenly Immortal Sect expressed their stance, the other sects also expressed their willingness to fight the extraterrestrial demons. As long as the extraterrestrial demons appeared, they had to be killed. Otherwise, the consequences would be unimaginable. The Dark Moon Ruler is also very supportive of the campaign against the extraterrestrial demons. He has also expressed that if there is a need, he will personally take action. Tan Xingfeng, who had already contacted the Dark Moon Ruler, explained the situation to him before continuing. Since all the great sects have agreed to deal with Soaring Heaven Sect and the Heavenly Demon Race, I suggest everyone first turn weapons of war into gifts of jade and silk and resolve their differences. What do you think? Then, he talked about the conflicts between Night Sorrow, Tianxin Gate, Heavenly Martial Pavilion, and Tianxin School. He said that although Wuyo died in Night Sorrow's hands, they would not hold on to this matter. Tan Xingfeng did this to show his goodwill to Night Sorrow. However, the people of the Heavenly Martial Pavilion and the Tianxin School didn't bite at all. Apparently, they didn't want to resolve their hatred, especially Meng Yi of the Heavenly Martial Pavilion. He looked at Night Sorrow as if he wanted to eat him alive. His only son, Meng Du, had died at the hands of Night Sorrow. He definitely wouldn't let this matter go. On the Tianxin School side, the Masters of the Feather God Group and the High God Group had basically all been killed by Night Sorrow. Their attitude was even clearer than that of the Heavenly Martial Pavilion. They opened their mouths and said that some hatred was unavoidable. At one point, the situation became very awkward. Since everyone has some hatred, a hatred of life and death, this Ten won't try to persuade them anymore. Tan Xingfeng saw that the situation was awkward and might even lead to a big conflict. So he said coldly, "However, I want to make it clear here. During the encirclement of Soaring Heaven Sect, if someone attacks an ally, then after Soaring Heaven Sect is taken down, the next target will be his sect." In this regard, no one objected. Even Meng Yi, who had lost his son, said that he wouldn't attack an ally. However, his gaze towards Night Sorrow was always filled with strong, murderous intent. In this regard, Night Sorrow naturally noticed, but he didn't take it to heart. Now that a divine emperor wanted to kill him, it wouldn't be easy. Since no one has any objections to attacking Soaring Heaven Sect, half a month from now, at noon, we will gather outside Soaring Heaven Sect. What do you all think? The matter of attacking Soaring Heaven Sect had been decided, so Tan Xingfeng set a time. Although not all of the people present were sect masters, they could still speak on behalf of their sects, so no one objected to the time he set. At this time, Lu Qingyuan sent a message to Tan Xingfeng, Sect Master Tan. "To tell you the truth, my Tianyin school has been targeted by Soaring Heaven Sect, and there is a traitor in my Tianyin school who is likely to have colluded with Soaring Heaven Sect. Their goal is likely to be to harm us on the way back." Is there such a thing? Your sect's Grand Elder Zhuangqing came with you because of this matter, right? Tan Xingfeng remained calm on the surface, but in fact, he was already thinking about how to help Tianyun School solve this matter. For him, this was an excellent opportunity to build a good relationship with Night Sorrow, so he didn't want to let it go. Grand Elder Zhuang is traveling with us because of this matter. However, even with him, I'm afraid it won't be easy to deal with Soaring Heaven Sect and the traitor in my Tianyin school, Lu Qingyuan said truthfully. Before coming here, none of them had expected Soaring Heaven Sect to openly collude with the Heavenly Demon race. Now that Soaring Heaven Sect was exposed at the 7-sect Great Competition, it was obviously a bit strange. It was likely that after colluding with the Heavenly Demon race, Soaring Heaven Sect's strength had grown tremendously. Elder Lu, don't make this matter public. If what you say is true, it will be a great opportunity for us to strike at Soaring Heaven Sect. Tan Xingfeng continued to send a message to Lu Qingyuan. On your way back to Tianyin School, I will send 2 divine kings and 20 divine monarchs to help you. Many thanks, Sect Master Tan. After communicating with him, Lu Qingyuan understood that Tan Xingfeng sparing no effort to help Tianyin School was entirely because of Night Sorrow's face. After communicating with Tan Xingfeng, he told Night Sorrow about this matter. With the help of 2 divine kings and 20 divine monarchs, our road back to Tianyin School will be much safer. Tan Xingfeng wanted to make friends with my Tianyin School. He has shown some sincerity. Night Sorrow sent a message to Lu Qingyuan. However, he is the kind of person who only cares about benefits. We can cooperate with him, but we can never treat him as a friend. Exactly. This time, with help, our road back to Tianyin School will be much smoother. Lu Qingyuan nodded. Soaring Heaven Sect daring to blatantly cooperate with the Heavenly Demon race in front of the other sects. This matter is definitely not as simple as it seems on the surface. We must pay more attention Perhaps their strength has already reached the point where they can challenge the six great sects, Night Sorrow said in a deep voice. Chapter 26:19. Soaring Heaven sect strength is definitely not that strong, but the heavenly demons might be terrifying. Lu Qingyuan said with a gloomy face. The key is that before this, heavenly demons would only appear on a large scale in Outer Heaven Mountain and Dark Forest. Where did Soaring Heaven sect's heavenly demons come from? I don't know if there's a gathering place for heavenly demons in Cloud Immortal Continent. Night Sorrow thought for a moment before continuing. If there's a sovereign among the heavenly demons, Cloud Immortal Continent will definitely be plunged into misery and suffering. If there's a sovereign, the seven sovereigns of the God Realm will definitely not sit idly by. Lu Qingyuan was not particularly worried about this matter. He knew that if a sovereign-level heavenly demon appeared in Cloud Immortal Continent, Sovereign Tianai and the others would definitely immediately take action. I'm worried that distant water won't be able to quench the immediate thirst. After all, a sovereign can bleed for thousands of miles with a single thought. Night Sorrow explained. Hearing this, Lu Qingyuan said, if that kind of thing happens, you and I won't be able to solve it at all. It's better not to think too much, lest it affect your Dao heart. Good. You continue drinking with them. I'll go out and meet the younger generation. Yi Shang informed Lu Qingyuan and excused himself from the others. Then, he walked out of the Sky Clear Palace and went to drink with the younger generation. Compared to the dull atmosphere in Sky Clear Hall, the atmosphere among the younger generation was much more lively. Brother Yi, you've also calculated it. Come, let Tiani toast you. Seeing Night Sorrow come out, Yin Tiani, who had joined the Heavenly Star Pavilion, immediately raised her wine cup. The others' eyes were all locked on Night Sorrow. After this seven-sect grand competition, he had become one of the most popular figures in the seven sects and could stand shoulder to shoulder with many legends. Ha! Good. Let's drink until we're drunk today. Night Sorrow responded with a smile. On the way back to Tianyan School, there was likely to be a big battle, so Night Sorrow wanted to relax. As for the others in Tianyan School, they were in a good mood because they won the double championship in the seven-sect grand competition. None of them drank less. Even Mei Ruoshiwe's cheeks were red from drinking. Night Sorrow, can you come out for a chat? When the banquet was about to end, Night Sorrow suddenly received a message from Murong Kai. Senior Sister Tsai, what's the matter? Yi Shang used sound transmission to reply. Follow me, Murong Kai, Yi said, and then took the lead to leave the banquet and walk out of the courtyard. This, seeing Murong Kai Yi, whose cheeks were already red from drinking, leave, Night Sorrow was actually a bit embarrassed. He guessed that the other party would probably mention something about a man and a woman. He already had a family and several wives, so he didn't want to get involved with women. However, out of courtesy, he still stood up and walked out of the courtyard. Where is he? When Night Sorrow walked out of the courtyard with a perturbed mood, he didn't see Murong Kai Yi's figure. After that, he continuously searched the surroundings, but he didn't see the other party's figure. He couldn't help but feel puzzled. If you want to save Murong Kai Yi, then follow me. Remember, don't call anyone else. Otherwise, I will immediately kill him. At this time, a masked man in black suddenly appeared in front of Night Sorrow. After saying his sentence, he stood up and flew away. This person can subdue Murong Kai Yi in a moment. His strength is certainly not ordinary. However, saving people is more important. I can't care so much. Night Sorrow didn't think much and directly chased after him. According to his judgment, the other party certainly didn't have the confidence to immediately kill him. Therefore, he used Murong Kai Yi to lead him somewhere. Because if the other party was the tyrannical divine king, he wouldn't need to talk nonsense. He would just directly kill him after appearing. With this thought, the confidence in his heart immediately grew. He is so familiar with the Tianqing Gate. He should be someone from the Tianqing Gate. Night Sorrow, who had used the Void Extreme Shadow Body to chase after the man in black, judged that the other party was from the Tianqing Gate and immediately became puzzled. After all, now that the Tianqing Gate's Gate Master Tan Qingfeng no longer targeted the Tianyan School, He didn't know who would dare to risk being punished by the gate master to deal with him. A formation? Knight Sorrow, who was following the other party, chased for a while and found that the man in black had entered a formation. He stopped outside. He started to use the eye of the sea serpent to check the formation. With this, Knight Sorrow judged that the formation in front of him was an ordinary divine emperor-level formation. He was completely capable of breaking it, so he followed without hesitation. I didn't expect you to really dare to come in. When Yishang entered the array, the black-robed man immediately stopped in his tracks. Where is Murong Kai Yi? Knight Sorrow looked at the man in black and asked. From the other party's aura, Knight Sorrow could see that he was a high-level divine emperor. In the face of a high-level divine emperor, he wasn't completely powerless and appeared very calm. She is in the depths of the formation. If you can defeat me, you can save her. The man in black said coldly. Unfortunately, you don't have the chance to defeat me. My thoughts are the exact opposite of yours. Knight Sorrow, whose eyes were filled with determination, took out the Samsara halberd and held it in his hand. Before you die, I'll let you know the truth. I am Wiyu's guardian. You killed him, and now I'll kill you. It's very fair. The man in black smiled maliciously and took out a war saber from his spatial artifact. This war saber exuded an evil killing intent. I don't care who you are. My purpose here is to save someone. Knight Sorrow replied coldly. Then he used the Samsara halberd and attacked the man in black with the Samsara strike. Child's play. Next, I'll let you understand the true difference between a divine emperor and a divine emperor. The black-clothed man responded to Knight Sorrow's Samsara strike with a strike of his saber. As far as he was concerned, even though Knight Sorrow had won the 7-sect Grand Competition's Upper God group, his true cultivation level was only that of a mid-level high god. He was several levels lower than a high-level divine lord like him, so he definitely wouldn't be a threat. However, when the two clashed, he was surprised to find that the situation was completely different from what he had imagined. Although he was fine after taking Knight Sorrow's attack, countless cracks had appeared on his war saber. If he took another blow, it would probably shatter completely. Very good. The divine artifact in your hand is very good. It can be used by me. The man in black was at a disadvantage, but he was not angry. He felt that Knight Sorrow was able to gain the upper hand because of the Samsara halberd in his hand. He laughed sharply and a strong killing intent suddenly erupted from his body. He gathered his divine origin energy and attacked Knight Sorrow with a unique skill. Heart-killing poison hand. After hesitating for a while, Knight Sorrow did not use the Trestrimsa battle secret skill. Instead, he used the Samsara Palm of the Void to fight with his opponent. He wanted to test his true combat strength. Boom! With a loud sound, the two of them once again ended up in a tie. However, at this time, Knight Sorrow saw an obvious black gas in his palm. If you're hit by my heart-killing poison hand, there is no cure. You could just wait for your death. When a man in black saw the black gas in Knight Sorrow's palm, he laughed confidently. Isn't it just some dark aura? What is there to be afraid of? In the face of the black chi, Knight Sorrow used the power of merit to disperse it. I forgot that you are a body of merit. So what if you disperse the black gas? What awaits you is still death. Chapter 2620. The array that had been set up long ago was activated in an instant. Knight Sorrow immediately felt a strong suppressive force that made it difficult for him to circulate his divine essence. The method used to set up this array was not exquisite, but the effect was not bad. Hee, how do you feel? The man in black's voice was filled with pride and indifference. He always felt that a divine lord was stronger than a high god. It's nothing much, because your formation is nothing to me. Knight Sorrow shouted and used the Trestrimsa battle mystic technique. He used the Samsara halberd to shoot out the Raging Flames demon at the center of the array. The core of the array was destroyed, and the array that had just been activated immediately lost its effect. Forbidden Spear, Divine Essence Dragon Lock Array. After breaking the array, Knight Sorrow immediately shot out the Forbidden Spear and used the Divine Essence Dragon Lock Array to restrain the man in black who wanted to escape. In an instant, The trapped man in black was hit by the forbidden spear before he could break out of the sealed space. His entire right arm was shattered by the samsara halberd. Little bastard, what kind of technique is this? The man in black did not watch Knight Sorrow's battle at the 7-sect tournament, so he did not know what the divine essence dragon lock array was. After suffering a loss, his expression changed drastically. Earth-shattering roar. Faced with the man in black's questioning, Knight Sorrow directly used the green rock soul, rending roar to respond, causing the man in black to bleed from his orifices. How can this be? He's clearly just an intermediate high god. The man in black was bleeding from his orifices and roared in disbelief. At this point, he still thought that there was a difference in strength between him and Knight Sorrow. If you want to deal with me, just come at me. Those who touch my friends will die, without a doubt. Knight Sorrow roared and used the second move of the green rock soul, rending roar, earth-shattering roar. Knight Sorrow, who had not used the Trestrimsa battle mystic technique yet, shouted the third roar, break samsara. Wu Yu's Path Protector's divine soul was immediately shattered. The black-clothed man still wanted to say something, but Knight Sorrow used his halberd to take his life. A friend was a sore spot. Yishan wasn't polite to him at all. After dealing with Wu Yu's guardians quickly and efficiently, Knight Sorrow completely broke the formation. Sure enough, he saw Murong Tsai trapped in the depths of the formation. Are you okay? Knight Sorrow asked. At this time, Murong Kai was somewhat startled. Seeing Knight Sorrow rushing over, she calmed down. She said, "You saved me again." "Thank you, Knight Sorrow. I didn't do it on purpose." Since she was caught, the effects of the alcohol had probably worn off. She did not mention the question that Knight Sorrow was afraid of. Instead, she was worried that Knight Sorrow would blame her for this. "It's my fault this time. They came for me," Knight Sorrow said in embarrassment. The other party had come because of Wu Yu, so naturally, it had nothing to do with Murong Kai. "Alas, I can only hold you back." Murong Kai's face showed a trace of helplessness. At the same time, she also figured out some things. Not long after, Tianqing Gate's sect master, Tan Xingfeng, and others heard Knight Sorrow's roar and rushed to the scene. After learning the cause and effect of the matter from Knight Sorrow, Tan Xingfeng said, "Take back the mountain that Wu Yu obtained and dismiss all his servants." Plotting against Knight Sorrow in Tianqing Gate would definitely affect the relationship between the two sects. This was something he could not tolerate. After this small interlude, the banquet finally came to an end as the sky was about to brighten. The next day, each sect left Tianqing Gate one after another to return to their sects to call for reinforcements. They were ready to besiege Soaring Heaven Sect. When it was Knight Sorrow's turn to leave with Tianyun School's cultivators, Tan Xingfeng suddenly sent a message to Lu Qingyuan. "This king and Grand Elder Fan will send you back to Tianyun School." "Sect Master Tan, won't this delay your handling of the sect's affairs?" Lu Qingyuan immediately responded. He was not used to Tan Xingfeng's enthusiasm. "It's fine. In any case, we need to hurry to Soaring Heaven Sect. This sect master will lead all the elites of Heavenly Clear Sect to accompany you to Soaring Heaven Sect's location. With the two sects together, there is no need to worry about anything else." Tan Xingfeng said. The elites of Tianqing Gate acting as bodyguard for Tianyun School was a treatment that no one else had ever received. "Good. In that case, our two sects will go to Soaring Heaven Sect together." Lu Qingyuan did not dislike having people from Tianqing Gate as bodyguards, but he felt that this would make Knight Sorrow owe him a favor. When communicating with Tan Xingfeng, he asked for Knight Sorrow's opinion, and Knight Sorrow did not object. When Tianyun School's group appeared on the deck of the Heavenly Cloud Shuttle, Tan Xingfeng had already taken the elites of Tianqing Gate to hide in Lu Qingyuan's space artifact. This lineup was even more powerful than what he had promised. "Knight Sorrow, what are you thinking about?" When the Heavenly Cloud Shuttle flew in the direction of Tianyun School, Lu Qingyuan saw Knight Sorrow standing on the deck. His thoughts drifted and he asked, "I'm a little worried about my family in the sect," Knight Sorrow answered truthfully. The only thing that could make his thoughts unsteady was his family. Now that most of Yuan Tianji's powerhouses were on the Heavenly Cloud shuttle, the sect was very empty. He was a little worried that the other vice sect master, Ho Jun, would make a move. Night Moon Dynasty's people were all on the mountain peak where Yuan Tianji was. If something happened to him, the Night Moon Dynasty's people would definitely be the first to be implicated. Lu Qing'en, who knew what Night Sorrow was thinking, comforted him. Don't worry, Ho Jun is a suspicious person. He will make a move easily. Otherwise, we wouldn't have sent so many divine monarch elders. I hope so. Night Sorrow nodded and continued to open the sea serpent's eye to observe the situation ahead. After the Heavenly Cloud shuttle had traveled for half a day and passed through a stretch of ruins, Yishan suddenly warned, "Stop! There's an ambush ahead." "What's going on?" Lu Qingyuan, who had stopped the Heavenly Cloud shuttle, immediately asked. "Someone has set up a trapping array on the road ahead. If we rashly move forward, we might be trapped." Night Sorrow explained. He had seen this with the sea serpent's eye. "Ha! Lu Qingyuan, I didn't expect you to be so alert." As soon as Night Sorrow finished speaking, a figure flew down from the clouds. "Ho Jun, what are you trying to do?" Lu Qingyuan immediately asked angrily when he saw the appearance of the person who had come. This person was none other than the vice sect master of Tianyun School, Ho Jun, whom he and Night Sorrow had been discussing. "Haha, what am I trying to do?" "Of course I'm trying to cut off your right-hand man for Yuan Tianji," Ho Jun said with a fake smile. Then he growled, "All of you come out." As soon as his voice fell, more than 30 divine monarchs with divine artifacts appeared in front of the Heavenly Cloud shuttle. Only a small half of these cultivators were from Tianyun School. Night Sorrow, who had begun to observe these divine monarchs with the sea serpent's eye, warned, "At least half of these people have the aura of extraterrestrial demons. Everyone be careful." Hearing this, Lu Qingyuan immediately rebuked angrily. "Ho Jun, not only are you colluding with Soaring Heaven sect, you are also colluding with extraterrestrial demons? Do you know how much damage extraterrestrial demons do to the God realm? These things have nothing to do with me. I only have one goal, and that is to defeat Yuan Tianji and take the position of sect master." Chapter 26-21. Don't leave. Anyone alive? Ho Jun, you have completely lost your mind. Has your mind been corrupted by the extraterrestrial demons? Ho Jun's evil and cold words made Lu Qingyuan, the elder of Tianyun School, shudder. He used to be a little extreme in his actions, but now he had completely fallen into madness. There had never been such a person in Tianyun School since ancient times. Lu Qingyuan felt very angry and felt that this was a disgrace to the sect. Lost my mind? Haha, no. I have only comprehended the truth. Only killing can bring new life to the Cloud Immortal Continent. Only killing can cultivate a new ruler for the Cloud Immortal Continent. Ho Jun's eyes flashed red. This was no longer the state of a normal cultivator of the God realm. It was a sign that he had completely fallen into the demonic path. Ho Jun has been completely influenced by the power of the extraterrestrial demons and has fallen into the demonic path. Everyone, be careful. Night Sorrow, who had activated the eye of the sea serpent, could see that Ho Jun had absorbed a large amount of evil power and his mind had been affected. Over time, he had finally fallen into the demonic path. Don't worry, he won't be able to cause any trouble today. The divine King Zhuangqing, who had been hiding in Lu Qingyuan's spatial Dharma artifact, suddenly came out and snorted coldly. Ho Jun's performance had really disappointed him, the Grand Elder. If Night Sorrow and Si Kongxiang hadn't accidentally bumped into Ho Jun's communication with the outside world, the consequences might have been unimaginable. Perhaps the future of Tianyun School would have all died in the hands of Ho Jun Zhuangqing, old man. Do you think you can reverse the situation just because you appeared? When he saw the divine King Zhuangqing appear, Ho Jun, who still had a crazed look on his face, berated him coldly. Ho Jun, if a man wants to die, he must first go crazy. Today I will kill you with my own hands and clean up the Tianyun School. The divine King Zhuangqing was one of the grand elders in Tianyun School that everyone respected. In the past, even the sect master had been very respectful to him. Now that he was being insulted by Ho Jun, he could no longer control his anger and immediately attacked Ho Jun, Zhuangqing. Do you think you are the Divine King? As he spoke these words, an astonishing amount of Divine King energy suddenly burst out of Ho Jun's body. It turned out that he had already successfully broken through to the God King realm from the half-step God King realm. Judging from his aura, he was even stronger than Divine King Zhuangqing. No wonder he was so arrogant. It seems that you have completely sacrificed your dignity and bottom line for strength. The Divine King Zhuangqing, who was already fighting with Ho Jun, shouted. Only the strong have the right to talk about dignity. Ho Jun, who was fighting with the Divine King Zhuangqing, shouted angrily when he saw that the others didn't move. What are you waiting for? Wash the heavenly cloud shuttle with blood for me. Yes, Sect Master. Yes, Demon Envoy. The 30 Overseer gods behind Ho Jun responded and immediately surrounded the heavenly cloud shuttle. Their imposing manner was extremely shocking. Most of them, like Ho Jun, had absorbed the evil energy. The only difference was the amount they had absorbed. Night Sorrow, it's time for us to show up, right? Seeing that more than 30 Sir Gods under Ho Jun were surrounding the heavenly cloud shuttle, the Sect Master of Tianqing Gate, Tan Qingfeng, immediately sent a telepathic message. He didn't ask for Lu Qingyuan's opinion. Instead, he contacted Night Sorrow directly. Obviously, he valued Night Sorrow more. According to Tan Qingfeng's judgment, since Ho Jun had led so many Sir Gods, the people of Tianqing Gate should have shown up. Otherwise, the people of Tianyin School would definitely be suppressed. Sect Master Tan and Grand Elder Fan, don't come out to deal with the strong enemies. The Sir Gods can send 20 people to help us. Night Sorrow replied. He couldn't see if there were people hiding in the dark with his sea serpent's eye, but he felt that since Ho Jun was called the Demon Envoy, he must have colluded with the extraterrestrial demons. Maybe there would be extraterrestrial demons on the level of the Divine King. Okay, since it's Night Sorrow's idea, we'll cooperate. Tan Qingfeng chose 20 Sir Gods who were good at fighting and communicated with Lu Qingyuan to let them go out to fight. In addition to the original 20 Sir Gods, Night Sorrow's side had more Sir Gods than Ho Jun's side. However, more than 40 Sir Gods were fighting with more than 30 Sir Gods. The situation was very chaotic, and it was hard to tell who had the upper hand. After the battle began, Night Sorrow put Mu Qingyu, Si Kongxiang, Mei Ruoxue, and the others into a spatial Dharma artifact. He himself joined the battle. A little high god dares to join the battle of Sir Gods? You're really reckless. Night Sorrow's opponent was a middle-level Sir God. After confirming that Night Sorrow's aura was only that of a middle-level high god, he showed a look of disdain. You're just a middle-level Sir God. Why do you have to be arrogant? Facing this middle-level Sir God from Tianyin School, Night Sorrow showed no mercy. He took out the Samsara halberd and used the Samsara strike on his opponent. The current him could already fight a high-level Sir God. The power of his spear was very shocking. What? So strong? Facing Night Sorrow's Samsara strike, the middle-level Sir God's expression changed. He had never imagined that he would be facing Night Sorrow, who was ranked 3rd on the High God list. In the eyes of the people from Tianyin School, the High God disciples of Tianyin School were all useless. Only Mu Qingyu was barely passable, but compared to his elder brother, Mu Baiyu, he was nothing. As for the results of this year's grand competition and Night Sorrow's strength, they were still unclear. Instead of lamenting, why don't we think of a way to dodge? In the face of Night Sorrow's attack, this middle-level Divine Lord was actually a little distracted. As a result, his movement technique was slightly slower. The heavenly Samsara halberd ruthlessly struck his abdomen, shattering his dantian. Night Sorrow, who had succeeded in one strike, used the Samsara halberd to pierce his opponent's spirit sea. Amazing, Brother Yi! A middle-level Sir God was killed by you in one strike. No wonder you're the champion of the High God group in the 7-sect grand competition. Mu Qingyu, who was hiding in Night Sorrow's spatial artifact, had never seen Night Sorrow fight before and was shocked by his strength. Haha, Brother Mu, you flatter me. This opponent was obviously distracted. Otherwise, he would have been able to take one strike. As he spoke, Knight Sorrow raised his head and used the sea serpent's eye to watch the battle. Seeing this, Knight Sorrow was slightly surprised. Although the Tianyin School and Tianqing Gate's allied forces had the advantage in numbers, they were suppressed. The Sir Gods under Ho Jun and some of the cultivators from Soaring Heaven Sect all had powerful dark auras in their bodies. With the support of this heavenly demon aura, their combat strength had multiplied. In a situation of 30 against 40, they had a certain advantage. This won't do. Chapter 26-22. Knight Sorrow felt that as long as the extraterrestrial demons didn't appear, the two divine kings, Tan Xingfeng and Fan Xianyun, shouldn't act rashly and alert the enemy. Glancing at the divine king, who was clearly being suppressed by Ho Jun, Knight Sorrow directly activated the 33 Heavens battle technique and madly shouted the 3 moves of the Green Rock soul-splitting roar. However, he didn't attack Ho Jun. Instead, he attacked the many divine lords on Ho Jun's side to relieve the pressure on his side. Knight Sorrow knew that with his strength, he wouldn't be able to affect the divine king at all. This was an insurmountable level suppression. Roar shakes mountains and rivers. Roar shatters heaven and earth. Roar shatters reincarnation. Knight Sorrow, who had activated his strongest combat power, roared the Green Rock soul-splitting roar that the divine king had taught him. The situation instantly changed. Many of the cultivators on Ho Jun's side felt their souls tremble. Even if they didn't tremble, their minds were still greatly affected. It greatly affected their attacks. Many of the divine lords slowed down a lot. It was this small change that allowed the Tianyin School and the Tianqing Gate Coalition Army to catch their breath. Lu Yuming, go and kill that god. Ho Jun, who noticed that Knight Sorrow's roar had affected the battle, immediately sent a message to a high-level divine lord to kill him. What a powerful aura! When Ho Jun's subordinate, Lu Yuming, flew in front of Knight Sorrow discovered that he was extremely powerful. He judged that this Lu Yuming wasn't an ordinary high-level divine lord. He should be about the same level as Ho Jun, an outstanding figure who had absorbed a large amount of evil energy. I didn't expect that the declining Tianyin School would have a god of your strength. Lu Yuming held his spear and floated in front of Knight Sorrow. He praised and said arrogantly, "Now, you have 2 paths in front of you. The first is submission, and the second is death. I choose to kill you." In the face of Lu Yuming's threat, Knight Sorrow replied disdainfully. It was impossible for him to submit. At this moment, Tan Xingfeng sent a voice transmission to Knight Sorrow from his spatial artifact. "Little friend Knight Sorrow, do you need help?" He could feel Lu Yuming's strength and was afraid that Knight Sorrow would not be his match. There's no need for that for now. Although he's strong, I have the power of virtue protecting me. It shouldn't be a problem for me to fight him. If Lu Yuming could reach his current strength without absorbing the evil energy, then Knight Sorrow would definitely not be his match. But the problem now was that he had absorbed the evil energy, and Knight Sorrow happened to have the means to restrain it. "You chose to let me die. Very good. I admire your confidence." Lu Yuming was not angry when he heard Knight Sorrow's words. Instead, he laughed. In his opinion, Knight Sorrow was completely blindly confident. The evil energy gave Lu Yuming strength. It made him feel that as long as a cultivator below the Divine King's level, they would not be his match. "It's too early for you to admire it. Look at the surprise I brought you." As he spoke, Knight Sorrow directly shot a forbidden spear at Lu Yuming. At the same time, he activated the Merit Dragon Lock Array and trapped him inside. Lu Yuming, who could not react in time, was unable to break out of the trap array. Knight Sorrow's heavenly Samsara halberd struck his chest. If not for the outstanding defensive robe on his body, he would probably end up like the middle-level feather god just now. "Very good. I have indeed underestimated you. But you can't kill me with just this." Lu Yuming roared in the trap array. He completely activated the evil energy in his body and used the spear in his hand to launch a frenzied attack on the Divine Essence Dragon Lock Array. His strength was indeed extraordinary. Soon, he completely destroyed the Divine Essence Dragon Lock array. Take my unstoppable Thunderbolt. Lu Yumming, who was holding a spear, was actually at a disadvantage in the hands of a high god. He immediately flew into a rage and attacked Night Sorrow. He was originally an expert among the high-level Divine Lords. Later, he absorbed a large amount of evil energy and felt that he might even be able to enter the Divine Lord list and become an invincible Divine Lord. Very sharp spear techniques. If not for Night Sorrow cultivating the Sea Serpent's Eye, he would not have been able to see through Lu Yumming's move. Now that he saw through it, he immediately realized the exquisiteness of this unstoppable Thunderbolt. He immediately studied it and blasted an identical move at his opponent. Of course, just like before, his unstoppable Thunderbolt was mainly of the Samsara attribute. Boom! Night Sorrow's Samsara attribute unstoppable Thunderbolt clearly suppressed Lu Yumming's Thunder attribute. However, Lu Yumming's Divine Essence energy clearly had the advantage. The two of them were basically evenly matched. How do you know Unstoppable Thunderbolt? Lu Yumming asked in disbelief when he saw Night Sorrow use Unstoppable Thunderbolt to neutralize his attack. Before you die, I'll naturally tell you. Night Sorrow used the Samsara Heavenly Halberd again and blasted out Unstoppable Thunderbolt. Then, he blasted out the Virtuous Dragon Locking Array at Lu Yumming. Using the power of virtue to construct a sealed space was the greatest nemesis of evil creatures. Lu Yumming, who had absorbed the evil energy, was trapped in the Virtuous Dragon Locking Array. The evil energy in his body was constantly purified. His body became much weaker in an instant. He could not even make a move to resist the attack, let alone break the array. Night Sorrow's spear struck his Dantian. Puff! With his Dantian shattered, Lu Yumming's vitality immediately weakened a lot. He completely lost the ability to resist. He was defeated so suddenly. This made him feel extremely incredulous. However, he knew that it was useless to say anything now. He could not use his Divine Essence energy. He was an absolute cripple. All he could do was wait for death. I can see through your moves. As for purifying the evil energy in your body, that's the effect of the power of virtue. At this moment, Night Sorrow's voice appeared in Lu Yumming's mind. Just as he heard these words, Night Sorrow pierced his divine sea and completely destroyed his divine soul. Using the power of virtue to instantly weaken Lu Yumming's strength and make him enter a weakened state was the key to Night Sorrow's easy victory. Little friend Night Sorrow's methods are indeed shocking. I, Tan Qingfeng, am extremely impressed. Tan Qingfeng, who was in the spatial artifact, had been paying attention to Night Sorrow's battle. When he saw him easily defeat Lu Yumming, he immediately praised him. Night Sorrow's ability was truly strong. Tan Qingfeng's praise came from the bottom of his heart. In response, Night Sorrow said politely, I have the power of virtue. It just happens to be the nemesis of evil energy. Otherwise, I wouldn't have one so easily. The power of virtue is not simple. You can rely on it to prove your Tao, Tan Qingfeng said enviously. The power of virtue was simply the nemesis of all evil. Moreover, its power was extremely shocking. People could not help but be envious. I will walk this path. Night Sorrow, who had finished collecting Lu Yumming's spoils of war, said and once again entered the battlefield. How could Lu Yumming be killed by a mere high god? Who can tell this sect master what's going on? Ho Jun, who was suppressing the divine King Zhuangqing, immediately asked angrily when he realized that Lu Yumming had been killed by Night Sorrow. Chapter 26-23 Sect Master. That exalted god used the power of merit to seal Lu Yumming in a formation and defeated him. One of the monarchs hurriedly replied. Usually, Ho Jun was the sect master, so he did not dare to add the word vice to his title. The power of merit. When did such a genius appear in the Tianyin school? While Ho Jun was fighting, he could not help but size up Night Sorrow to see if there was anything special about him. At the moment, Night Sorrow was already engaged in battle with the other divine lords. With the support of the power of merit, He had a natural counter to these cultivators with evil power, so he was able to fight them with ease. You are indeed not simple, a rare talent. You could be subdued and used by me. Ho Jun saw Knight Soro's performance and shouted, "How did you do in the 7-sec grand competition that just ended?" My ranking has something to do with the Tianyan school. It has nothing to do with a traitor like you who has joined the extraterrestrial demons. Yishang snorted disdainfully in response. No matter how strong Ho Jun was, he was not worth mentioning in Knight Soro's eyes. As a cultivator, he did not even hold the most important bottom line. How dare you? How dare you talk to me like this? I think you don't want to live anymore. No matter how talented you are just an exalted god. Ho Jun was instantly enraged by Knight Soro's ridicule. I originally wanted to keep you alive and use you for myself. Now it seems that you brought this upon yourself. I, Knight Soro, would rather be used by pigs, chickens, cows, and sheep than be used by trash like you who betrays my Tao heart. Knight Soro responded bluntly to Ho Jun's threat. He was the opposite of Ho Jun. He would never betray his Tao heart for power. Exalted God Ant, since you are courting death, don't blame me for not using my talent. Ho Jun was completely enraged. Under Knight Soro's influence, they were gradually losing the upper hand. He threw a huge millstone into the void and blasted a big hole. He looked up to the sky and shouted, "Come out, all of you come out." After roaring, Ho Jun let out a sharp, ear-piercing laugh. Everyone saw countless extraterrestrial demons crawling out of the big hole. Among them, there were at least 1,000,000 exalted gods and about 100 divine lords. There was even a divine king-level extraterrestrial demon. Demon Envoy Ho Jun, you are finally willing to open the passage and allow us to descend. The extraterrestrial demons, led the extraterrestrial demons, extraterrestrial demons, immediately let out a sinister laugh. Coupled with Ho Jun's shrill laughter, it made people shudder with fear. Devour these ignorant cultivators. Don't leave a single one alive. Ho Jun ordered coldly as he looked at the Divine King-level extraterrestrial shelter from the cold. In his opinion, he already had 2 Divine King on his side. With such strength, he could completely crush the opponent in front of him. Good. We, the Sky Devils, have been silent for too long. It's time for us to drink blood again. The Divine King-level shelter from the cold revealed a cold smile. Trash like you want to act like a tyrant in the Cloud Celestial continent? Truly laughable frogs in a well. He looked at Ho Jun and shelter from the cold's Knight Soro with disdain. Merit deity? When the Divine King-level shelter from the cold saw that Knight Soro actually had the power of merit, he immediately ordered, "Kill this merit deity at all costs. Otherwise, he will become a great threat to our race in the future." Yes. Hearing shelter from the cold's order, the 100 or so divine lords and divine king under him all exploded with intense killing intent. Being targeted by so many divine lords, even Knight Soro couldn't help but feel his scalp tingle. At this moment, Knight Soro's Treistrimsa battle mystic techniques effect ended and the backlash came. He immediately swallowed 2 pills. After his strength recovered, he transmitted, "Sect Master Tan, you can all come out now. We have 3 divine kings on our side and only 2 on the other side. Although we are at a disadvantage in terms of numbers, we will definitely win easily." Yes, the divine king killing divine lords is like a grown man bullying a baby. Tan Qingfeng replied and transmitted his voice to Lu Qingyuan, "Let us out. We can start the battle now." Since the other side had already used their trump card, there was no need for them to hide anymore. Good. This time, we really have to thank Sect Master Tan. Otherwise, the elites of Tianyan School might have been completely wiped out. Lu Qingyuan said gratefully. No matter what Tan Qingfeng's purpose was, he had still helped them a lot. Ha! Elder Lu, don't be so polite. From now on, Tianqing Gate and Tianyan School are on the same side. It's only right that we support each other. Tan Qingfeng laughed and came out of the spatial artifact. After he appeared, he looked at Shelter from the Cold, the leader of the extraterrestrial demons, and said, How dare you, extraterrestrial demons, appear in Yunxian continent in broad daylight and act so presumptuously? Do you really think there is no one in Yunxian continent? Upper Divine King? Seeing Tan Xingfeng appear, the Divine King of Shelter from the Cold's arrogance immediately weakened. It was a middle Divine King and was obviously much weaker than Tan Xingfeng. Sectmaster, don't waste your breath on these beasts. Just kill them all. At this time, Tianqing Gate's Grand Elder Fan, Xianyan, also came out of Lu Qingyuan's spatial artifact. In addition, all the elite divine lords of Tianqing Gate also appeared. At this moment, all the trump cards that Night Sorrow had prepared had been revealed. Such a lineup was obviously more luxurious than Ho Jun's. People of Tianqing Gate, don't you have a deep grudge against Tianyan School? Why are you getting involved in this mess? Ho Jun, who originally thought that he had the upper hand, was dumbfounded. Although he had the evil power and was very crazy, he couldn't help but be stunned when he saw the huge difference in strength between the two sides. He didn't expect that Tianqing Gate would send so many masters to follow Tianyan School. If not, he was confident that he could kill Zhuang Qing, Lu Qingyuan, and the others. Tianqing Gate and Tianyan School are both orthodox Yunxian continent, and we won't tolerate your impudence. Attack! Tan Xingfeng didn't waste any time. He immediately gathered his divine origin energy, took out his divine artifact, and attacked the Divine King of Shelter from the Cold. Yes, there's no need to talk nonsense with them. Just kill them all. Tianqing Gate's Grand Elder Fan, Xianyun, agreed and rushed into the group of divine lords like a tiger in a flock of sheep. Good job. Tan Xingfeng and Fan Xianyun attacked one after the other. Night Sorrow didn't stay idle either. He shouted and used the reincarnation heavenly halberd to unleash the Inferno demon slaying technique, burning the million-strong army of extraterrestrial demons. Half of the divine lords of the extraterritorial demons were burned by the flames that were tainted with the ancestral phoenix's energy. Chapter 26-24. These god-level extraterritorial demons had an extremely evil aura, but after being converted into the power of virtue, it was an extremely pure and holy energy. After absorbing the energy of hundreds of thousands of extraterritorial demons, Night Sorrow's power of virtue increased significantly, and he was one step closer to becoming a high god. This feels great. If I absorb the remaining hundreds of thousands of god-level extraterritorial demons, my power of virtue will have a chance to become a high god. This will increase my strength very quickly, but there are no side effects at all. It seems that my path will require me to constantly kill these evil creatures. After absorbing the power of virtue from so many god-level extraterritorial demons, Night Sorrow could not help but feel enlightened. The extraterritorial demons that everyone in the realm of gods feared were the best resources on his path of cultivation. They could help him increase his power of virtue and then use it to prove his Tao, which would then lead to other aspects. All extraterritorial demons, heed my command. Kill the high god who slaughtered our race at all costs. Seeing Night Sorrow burn hundreds of thousands of extraterritorial demons to death, the Divine King of Shelter from the Cold crazily ordered. Extraterritorial demons were evil, cold-blooded, murderous, and had a strong desire for revenge. In the eyes of the Divine King of Shelter from the Cold, they would not retreat if they did not kill Night Sorrow today. Shelter from the Cold, I will help you kill this high god ant. After Shelter from the Cold gave the order, the other extraterritorial demons did not react. Ho Jun, who was fighting with the Divine King of Zhuang Qing, took out a bronze cauldron that emitted an evil aura from his spatial artifact. After the bronze cauldron was summoned, it immediately flew toward Night Sorrow, wanting to suck him in. Oh no, this is the Divine King's power. I can't resist it. The bronze cauldron was very fast. After being summoned, it immediately flew to Night Sorrow's location and was pulled in by a strong suction force. Night Sorrow felt immense pressure. In the face of such a king-level divine artifact, his ability to resist was negligible. My friend Night Sorrow, don't be afraid. I will help you. I was too slow. Please forgive me. Just as Night Sorrow was about to be pulled in by the wicked bronze cauldron, Tianqing Gate Master Tan Xingfeng flew from the side with a long sword in hand and slashed at the energy pulling Night Sorrow. After being struck by this sword, the energy that was tearing Night Sorrow apart was immediately severed. Haha, you demons still want to cause trouble at this moment. All of you, surrender yourselves. Tan Xingfeng didn't stop after cutting off the pulling force of the evil bronze cauldron. He kept attacking the cauldron. Although this copper cauldron was a king grade divine artifact, in the face of a high divine king's attack, it could only flee and fly back into Ho Jun's hands. Night I of them, I of I in it, of it. It of it, of them, of God, of them. Now that they are trapped by the king-level formation, not many can escape. After repelling Ho Jun's king-level divine artifact, Tan Xingfeng explained to Night Sorrow that his plan was to catch them all in one fell swoop. That was why he had been a little slow. Good move, Master Tan. You don't have to take care of me. Leave all of these evil creatures behind. The aura of the extraterrestrial demons was very evil. It was more evil than any creature Night Sorrow had ever seen. He sent a message to Tan Xingfeng. Then, he once again used Inferno Demon on the remaining God-level extraterrestrial demons. Ignorant child, how can we let you succeed again? Seeing Night Sorrow use Inferno Demon once again, the Divine King, level extraterrestrial shelter from the cold, who was already prepared, shouted coldly. He waved his hand and used a Divine King level energy to dissolve the Inferno Demon. After neutralizing Night Sorrow's Inferno Demon, Shelter from the Cold also attacked Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow was helpless against the Divine King level attack. At that moment, Tan Xingfeng once again blocked the attack. Then, he sneered, shameless extraterrestrial demon. As the Divine King, you actually dare to attack a high god. You extraterrestrial demons really have no bottom line. Your opponent is me. Let's fight. But despite what Tan Xingfeng said, he blocked Shelter from the cold attack. Then, he waved his hand and used a Divine King level attack on the extraterrestrial demons. Then, when Shelter from the Cold tried to stop him, he swung his sword at his opponent. After all, Tan Xingfeng was a Divine King. He wasn't far from becoming a half-step ruler. He was very powerful. His casual attack felt like it could destroy heaven and earth. Shelter from the Cold had originally wanted to stop Tan Xingfeng from slaughtering his subordinates. But in the end, he chose to protect himself instead. Extraterrestrial demons didn't have a shred of kindness in their nature. How could they sacrifice themselves to save others? Boom! Tan Xingfeng's attack was unstoppable. It instantly killed all the remaining high gods. After succeeding, he laughed heartily. Extraterrestrial demons, you truly don't care about your companions. Life forms like you have no reason to exist. Today, all of you will die here. The roaring Tan Xingfeng was the strongest person present. While fighting against the Divine King, level extraterrestrial Shelter from the Cold, he was always looking for opportunities to attack the Divine Lord level extraterrestrial demons and whittle down their numbers. As an upper Divine King, his casual attack was equivalent to the attack of a Divine King level Divine Talisman. It wasn't something these Divine Lord level extraterrestrial demons could block. Before long, he had personally killed more than a dozen Divine Lord level extraterrestrial demons. This kind of result was even greater than that of Grand Elder Fan Xianyun, who specialized in fighting extraterrestrial demons. This was the difference in strength between an upper Divine King and a lower Divine King. Damn it, cultivator of the heavenly realm, you deserve to die. In the future, my celestial demon clan will definitely send someone to kill you. Shelter from the Cold, who was fighting against Tan Xingfeng, already had a ferocious expression on its face. It had originally descended to the heavenly realm to drink blood and slaughter. It hadn't expected to encounter 3 Divine King level characters. Moreover, one of them was an upper Divine King. This was an existence it couldn't resist at all. At this point, on the extraterrestrial demon's side, only Ho Jun, who was fighting against the Divine King Zhuangqing, still had a slight advantage. Under the suppression of Tan Qingfeng and Fan Xianyun, the other cultivators and extraterrestrial demons didn't have the ability to fight back at all. What a reckless waste of natural resources. If only I had killed all of them. On the other side, Yi Shuang felt slightly envious when he saw the two god kings kill the various outer realm celestial demons. This was because he was not the one who killed the celestial demons, so they would not turn into power of virtue and fly towards him. After thinking for a while, Knight Sorrow swallowed a few elixirs. After recovering his body's condition, he immediately activated the secret battle technique of the 33 heavens, instantly increasing his strength tenfold. When the two divine kings on the enemy side had no time to worry about him, he used the green Peng soul-splitting roar that the divine king Zhuang Qing had taught him. First roar shakes mountains and rivers. Second roar shatters heaven and earth. Third roar shatters reincarnation. Chapter 26-25. If he could kill a few of them, the amount of power of merit he would gain would definitely be considerable. When he was threatened by Ho Jun's evil bronze cauldron, Knight Sorrow realized that he was too weak. He had to increase his strength as soon as possible. Otherwise, there was a possibility of him dying in the battle against the extraterrestrial demons. After all, the divine king of the extraterrestrial demons did not care if Knight Sorrow was a high god. They were purely bloodthirsty and could devour any deity realm cultivator. It's effective. Very good. Looks like my casual roar must have killed 2 deity realm extraterrestrial demons. After using the green rock soul-splitting roar, Knight Sorrow soon saw 2 extremely powerful golden power of merit rushing toward him. He absorbed the 2 power of merit and felt very comfortable. It was similar to the feeling of being baptized by the origin source of the Cloud Fairy continent. Knight Sorrow, be careful of the enemy's attack. Just as Knight Sorrow was distracted for a moment, Tan Qingfeng's voice suddenly sounded. Knight Sorrow was shocked. He opened the sea serpent's eye and realized that 3 invisible God-level extraterrestrial demons were creeping toward him while he was immersed in absorbing the power of merit. If Knight Sorrow had not opened the sea serpent's eye, he would not have been able to see these invisible extraterrestrial demons. Tan Qingfeng had been using the power of his god soul to cover Knight Sorrow during the battle. Therefore, he could tell that the extraterrestrial demons were coming from the energy waves in the air. Thank you, Sect Leader Tan. I can handle these 3 Godlord-level otherworldly demons myself. You could just focus on dealing with that God King-level otherworldly demon. Although Knight Sorrow used to hate Tan Qingfeng, he felt that although this guy's character was not good, he was not careless at all. After thanking him, Knight Sorrow looked at the 3 extraterrestrial demons creeping toward him. These 3 extraterrestrial demons had the strength of a high god, and their auras were much stronger than ordinary deity realm cultivators. However, Knight Sorrow, as the high god of merit, had a natural counter to these evil creatures. He was not afraid at all. Inferno, demon, subduing. Using the sea serpent's eye to determine the figures of the 3 otherworldly demons, Knight Sorrow immediately used blazing flames subduing demons. After being burned by the flames, the 3 extraterrestrial demons completely revealed themselves. Knight Sorrow, let me help you. At this moment, Lu Qingyuan, who was fighting with the other divine lords, finally noticed that an extraterrestrial demon had crept up to Knight Sorrow. He shouted and prepared to rescue him. At this moment, Knight Sorrow stopped him. Elder Lu, don't worry. I can deal with these 3 heavenly demons myself. What? You're preparing to deal with 3 high-level divine, lord-level, otherworldly demons by yourself? Are you sure? Upon hearing Knight Sorrow's words, Lu Qingyuan was immediately taken aback. He felt immense pressure when dealing with otherworldly demons of the same level. He felt that otherworldly demons of the same level seemed to be stronger than divine world cultivators of the same level. Knight Sorrow actually wanted to deal with 3 high-level divine, lord-level otherworldly demons as a middle-level high god. This made him feel that Knight Sorrow was risking his life. Elder Lu, Night Sorrow is not a reckless person. These evil creatures don't pose much of a threat to me. 3 otherworldly demons sneaking into our camp is completely an opportunity for me to increase my strength. After explaining, Night Sorrow held the heavenly Samsara halberd horizontally in front of him and struck out with unstoppable thunderbolt at one of the high-level divine, lord-level otherworldly demons. Although this unstoppable thunderbolt was mainly of the Samsara attribute, it contained a trace of the power of thunder and was extremely effective against evil creatures like otherworldly demons. The high-level divine, lord-level otherworldly demon that Night Sorrow had locked onto instinctively wanted to dodge in the face of unstoppable thunderbolt. However, at this moment, Night Sorrow used the Myriad dragon locking formation and immediately trapped it inside. Accompanied by a rumbling sound, the heavenly Samsara halberd struck out with unstoppable thunderbolt and blasted into the sealed space. The otherworldly demon that was trapped in the sealed space by the power of Myriad had been constantly purified, and its strength had clearly decreased significantly. How could it still have the ability to resist unstoppable thunderbolt? It was instantly smashed into pieces. However, the high-level divine lord-level otherworldly demon's vitality was extremely tenacious. Although it was smashed into pieces by the heavenly Samsara halberd, this otherworldly demon did not turn into the power of Myriad and was not completely dead. Samsara strike. Seeing that this otherworldly demon was not completely dead, the other 2 had already launched attacks at him. Yishang immediately used the Samsara heavenly halberd to strike the Samsara strike into the sealed space. The extraterrestrial demons in the trapping formation were instantly annihilated by the Samsara strike. They turned into golden power of Myriad and flew towards Yishang. Demon Envoy Ho Jun, today I must definitely kill this cultivator with the power of Myriad. If I don't get rid of him, he will definitely become a huge threat to my heavenly demon clan in the future. Seeing that Night Sorrow had actually managed to kill a high-level divine, lord-level otherworldly demon with the strength of a mid-level divine god in a 1-on-3 situation, Night Sorrow's cold eyes flashed with cold light. The divine king-level otherworldly demon Shelter from the Cold, who was fighting against Tan Qing Feng, said savagely, "Use your secret technique and help me hold off this high-level divine king for a moment. I have my own ways to deal with that god-level ant." "All right, I'll try my best." Hearing Shelter from the Cold's telepathic message, Ho Jun glanced at Night Sorrow and then took out the evil bronze cauldron from his spatial artifact. This evil bronze cauldron was after all a king-level divine artifact. Although it was unrealistic to use it to kill Tan Qing Feng, it could still be useful if it was just to trap him for a moment or 2. Oh no, they want to deal with me. When Ho Jun glanced at Night Sorrow, he suddenly felt as if his body had fallen into an ice cave. He had a very bad feeling about this. "Don't worry, Night Sorrow, my young friend, I will protect you. Just focus on the battle." As Night Sorrow felt as if he had fallen into an ice cave, Fan Xianyun suddenly sent him a telepathic message, telling him not to panic and to continue the battle. In the battle just now, Fan Xianyun had not attacked Ho Jun or Shelter from the Cold because he was waiting for an opportunity. At this moment, he could see that Ho Jun and Shelter from the Cold were plotting something and wanted to deal with Night Sorrow. Thinking that this was a good opportunity, he secretly took out a long flute from his spatial artifact. Although it was a flute-shaped king-level divine artifact, it looked similar to a dagger and gave off a sharp, cold aura. "Thank you very much for your care, Grand Elder Fan." The people of Tianqing Gate had taken good care of him, so Night Sorrow had basically erased his past unhappiness. After all, the extraterrestrial demons were now the real enemies of the heavenly realm. He had no reason to stay in the past and be unable to extricate himself. After replying to Fan Xianyun, Night Sorrow continued to fight against the other 2 extraterrestrial demons at the level of a senior deity. With the experience of dealing with the first one, Night Sorrow fought against the other 2. Although it was dangerous, he handled every part of the battle perfectly. With the help of the eye of the Mirage Dragon, he was able to turn danger into safety every time. The two extraterrestrial demons that faced Night Sorrow's attacks were quickly injured. Just as Night Sorrow used the virtuous dragon-locking spell to bind one of the extraterrestrial demons, he finally killed it. A cold smile suddenly appeared on Ho Jun's face. He controlled the evil bronze cauldron and blasted it toward Tan Qing Feng, who was fighting shelter from the cold. Chapter 26:26. In order to successfully kill Night Sorrow, Ho Jun and Shelter from the Cold chose to detonate their king-level divine artifacts. Tan Qing Feng did not expect this kind of decisiveness at all. He was careless and was hit by the explosion of the divine artifacts and suffered serious injuries. Good chance, seeing that Tan Qing Feng was injured by Ho Jun's evil bronze cauldron. The divine king-level Shelter from the Cold immediately broke free from Tan Qingfeng's restraints and turned into a wisp of green smoke, attacking Night Sorrow's position. The wisp of green smoke that it turned and had a very strong, evil aura. It went straight for Night Sorrow's spirit ocean. How dare you, evil spirit? In a situation of 2 against 3, you dare to attack a low-level cultivator of Yunxian continent. You brought this upon yourself. At this moment, the Grand Elder of Tianqing Gate, Fan Xianyun, used the flute in his hand like a long sword and chopped at the green smoke that Shelter from the Cold had turned into. When Shelter from the Cold, which had been ignoring Fan Xianyun, realized that he had prepared this attack, it was too late to dodge. It was immediately cut in half at the waist. Although the life force of a God King level otherworldly demon was extremely tenacious, and they could still recover after being cut in half, it was simply impossible for them to recover in a short period of time after suffering such heavy injuries in battle. Haha, you went for wool and came home shorn. Seeing Shelter from the Cold being cut in half by Fan Xianyun's sword, and then the two of them fighting, Night Sorrow revealed a trace of a cold smile. He continued to attack the other 2 extraterrestrial demons that had ambushed him. Soon, he used the Samsara Strike to kill another one and absorb all the power of virtue it turned into. Just give up and let yourself be captured. You evil creatures shouldn't have come to the heavenly realm to make trouble. Facing the last upper-level divine, Lord-level extraterrestrial demon, Night Sorrow, who had already successfully killed 2 of them, easily took control of the situation. After continuously suppressing Night Sorrow, this otherworldly demon chose to self-detonate at the final moment. However, the power of virtue was still absorbed by Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow felt that his power of merit had reached the pinnacle of the middle high celestial realm after absorbing the power of merit from 3 high celestial realm heavenly demons. All he needed was an opportunity for his power of merit to advance to the upper high celestial realm. After becoming a high deity, Night Sorrow's cultivation did not slow down in the slightest compared to when he was in the Feather God realm. Instead, it increased slightly. If Si Kongxiang and the others were know about this, they would definitely be filled with envy and jealousy. Damn it, we have no chance of winning today. Demon Envoy Ho Jun chose to break out of the encirclement. Don't worry about the others, as long as you and I can escape from here. Shelter from the Cold, whose body had been cut in half by Fan Xianyun, realized that they had no chance of victory. They immediately sent a telepathic message to Ho Jun. At the same time, they ordered, "All heavenly demons, listen to my command and self-detonate." The remaining 30 or 40 high celestial demons all chose to self-detonate upon receiving Shelter from the Cold's command. Although the self-detonation of so many high celestial demons was not much of a threat to the 3 divine kings, it was a devastating blow to the high celestials. Xianyun, Zhuangqing, you 2 try to save as many people as you can. I'll keep the 2 big ones here. Tan Qing Feng, who had just been injured by the evil bronze cauldron, was holding back his anger. He spoke to Fan Xianyun and Zhuangqing, then chased after Shelter from the Cold and Ho Jun, who had broken through the formation and escaped. Fan Xianyun and Zhuangqing, the 2 divine kings, did their best to protect the cultivators of the 2 sections. Virtuous dragon-lock formation. At this moment, Seeing that Shelter from the Cold and Ho Jun were trying to escape, Night Sorrow immediately chased after them and cast the virtuous Dragon Lock formation, locking the two of them within. Although the virtuous Dragon Lock formation could be broken by the two Divine Kings with a wave of their hands, it still delayed their movements. Moreover, the moment the two of them broke through the formation, Night Sorrow, who had chased after them, once again cast the Dragon Lock formation formed by the power of virtue and primordial spirit, trapping Ho Jun within once again. The moment Ho Jun broke through the formation, Night Sorrow attacked once again. He trapped Ho Jun 5 times in a row. After being trapped by the Dragon Lock formation 5 times in a row, Ho Jun was caught up by Tan Qing Feng in an instant. Scum of Yunxian continent, you didn't expect that you would be stopped by a high celestial. There's only one outcome waiting for you, and that is the destruction of your divine soul. Shelter from the Cold definitely couldn't catch up. Tan Qing Feng, who was blocking Ho Jun, completely exploded. Night Sorrow, you have the power of virtue, and the important figures of the heavenly demon army won't let you off. When the army breaks through the seal and descends upon Yunxian continent, it will be the time of your death. Ho Jun, who was being suppressed by Tan Qing Feng, couldn't escape at all. He roared at Night Sorrow. During the battle, Night Sorrow constantly used the power of virtue to purify the evil aura on his body, causing his strength to continuously decrease. This made Tan Qing Feng feel unusually relaxed during the battle. You clearly have a prominent position in Tianyin School, but you insist on joining the evil heavenly demon camp. One day, you will understand what a laughable choice this is. Night Sorrow coldly scolded Ho Jun, who had completely lost the ability to resist. He looked at Tan Qing Feng and said, "Sect Leader Tan, we know nothing about the extraterrestrial demons. We can't kill Ho Jun for now. You control him and interrogate him properly. That's how it should be. As the Divine King, and also known as the Demon Envoy, he should have a certain status. We should be able to dig out a lot of information from him." Tan Qing Feng nodded and said. He was very angry after being injured by the explosion, but he suppressed his anger and didn't directly kill Ho Jun. After controlling Ho Jun, Night Sorrow and Tan Qing Feng flew back to the location where the heavenly demons self-detonated and checked on the injured. In the battle just now, only the Divine King of Shelter from the Cold escaped from the heavenly demon camp. Ho Jun was captured, and the rest of the cultivators and heavenly demons were all destroyed. The cultivators of Tianyin School and Tianqing Gate suffered negligible losses compared to the heavenly demons. Good. We fought beautifully in this battle. Many cultivators of Tianyin School were injured, but not many died. Zhuang Qing, the Divine King, was very happy. He saluted Tan Qing Feng and Fan Xianyun and said gratefully, "This time, I have to thank Tianqing Gate for their help. Otherwise, Tianyin School would have suffered a great loss today." "Don't mention it, Grand Elder Zhuang. Fighting against the extraterrestrial demons is the duty of the cultivators of the heavenly realm." Tan Qing Feng politely bowed back and said, "Yi Shang, my young friend, you are a great threat to the Sky Demon. Tianyin School must protect him. We can't give him any chance." "Of course," Divine King Zhuang Qing replied and continued, "Actually, having Night Sorrow is not only a blessing for Tianyin School, but also for the entire Yunxian continent. As long as he can grow, no heavenly demon will be a threat to the heavenly realm." "That's right. Let's witness his rise with our own eyes." Tan Qing Feng looked at Night Sorrow and said, "If nothing unexpected happens, his future achievements will far surpass yours and mine." "Haha, of course. After all, he has the bearing of a ruler." Divine King Zhuang Qing laughed. "You are right. Night Sorrow has the bearing of a ruler, but his future will be completely cut off today." At this moment, Shun Han, who had already escaped, suddenly appeared beside Yishang. He waved his hand and attacked. Shelter from the Cold had returned. This was something no one had expected. Chapter 26-27. Oh no! Protect Night Sorrow. Zhuangqing and the Divine King shouted anxiously when they realized that the Divine King-level extraterrestrial demon had returned and appeared beside Night Sorrow. However, even Tan Xingfeng, who was closest to Night Sorrow, was not as close as shelter from the cold. Although Tan Xingfeng and Fan Xianyan truly cared about Yishang's safety, they were too far away to help. It was too late for them to help. Ha ha ha! It's too late to protect him. Shelter from the cold laughed coldly when it saw the situation in front of it and struck out with its palm. Because there were 3 God Kings by his side, the palm strike he unleashed was not an absolute art. A strike from the Divine King. Fortunately, it's not a secret technique. When Shelter from the Cold struck out with its palm strike, the expressions of Zhuangqing, the Divine King, Tan Xingfeng, and Fan Xianyan all changed greatly. In their opinion, no matter how gifted Night Sorrow was, he was only a great deity after all. It was impossible for him to take a strike from the Divine King. However, Night Sorrow did not give up in the face of such a strike. He immediately activated the 33 Heavens Battle secret technique and used the virtuous dragon-locking formation to lock Shelter from the cold and temporarily slow it down. Meanwhile, he used the Void Extreme Shadow Body to escape through the void. Although the Divine King's strike could lock onto its target, Night Sorrow, who had the Eye of the Sea Serpent, could completely determine the trajectory of this strike. When he used the Samsara Halberd to strike with the Samsara Strike, it happened to collide with the weakest point of the opponent's energy. How dare a great deity and take a strike from me? Do you think you can defy the heavens? Shelter from the Cold showed a look of disdain when it saw that Night Sorrow had chosen to use the Samsara Halberd to meet it head-on. In its eyes, no matter how strong the exalted god was, he was just an ant. Zhuangqing, Tan Xingfeng, and Fan Xianyan, who were too far away to help, also felt the same way. Even though they had high hopes for Night Sorrow, they did not think that a great god could withstand the sneak attack of the Middle Divine King. This was common sense, and no one could go against it. Not even the hegemon had been able to do this in his youth. Boom! When Night Sorrow's Samsara Halberd collided with Shelter from the Cold's technique, a majestic force instantly crushed the aura of the Samsara Halberd. Although Night Sorrow had the advantage in terms of attributes, the difference in strength between the two was simply too great. Am I really going to die under its sneak attack? Feeling the boundless power of the Divine King's attack, Night Sorrow felt as if he were a boat in the middle of a vast ocean, unable to withstand the impact of the waves. I'll tell you responsibly. You will die under this palm, and no one in the world will be able to save you. As if it knew what Night Sorrow was thinking, Shelter from the Cold laughed coldly. Its laughter was so cold that it made people shudder. No one can save him, but I can. When Shelter from the Cold's Divine King's energy was about to devour Night Sorrow, Zhuangqing, the Divine King, Tan Xingfeng, and Fan Xinyan's expressions changed drastically. A disdainful voice suddenly sounded from the Samsara Halberd. Then, a huge phoenix rushed out from the Samsara Halberd and burned away all of the Divine King's energy that Shelter from the Cold had shot out. Then, the phoenix continued to burn towards it. Who are you? The moment the huge phoenix appeared, Shelter from the Cold was stunned. Its aura was not only powerful, but it also contained the smell of the origin and the power of the hegemon. Shelter from the Cold couldn't help but tremble. I'm not human, but I'll kill anyone who tries to harm Night Sorrow. The huge phoenix that rushed out from the Samsara Halberd let out a vast phoenix cry as it flapped its wings. Its aura was as if it could split the heavens and earth apart. You're the ancestral phoenix? Feeling the terrifying aura of the golden phoenix, Shelter from the Cold immediately panicked. From the other party's aura, it could tell that something was wrong. Because only the ancestral phoenix, which had long disappeared in the long river of history, had the unparalleled power of the hegemon. Yes, but also no. But you evil spirit will definitely be burned to the ground. The huge golden phoenix dispersed Shelter from the Cold's Divine King's energy. Its aura shook the heavens and the earth, and it instantly killed Shelter from the Cold. Shelter from the Cold, a mid-level Divine King, was killed in one move. Not only were Zhuang Qing, the Divine King, and the others extremely surprised, even Knight Sorrow himself was astonished. Knight Sorrow hurriedly said, "Senior, thank you for saving my life. Are you the ancestral phoenix?" "I'm a feather of the ancestral phoenix, but not an ordinary feather. I stayed in the realm of the gods to find you." After killing shelter from the cold, the ancestral phoenix feather transformed into a human, but its face was extremely blurry, and it was impossible to tell whether it was a man or a woman. "You stayed in the realm of the gods to find me? What do you mean?" Knight Sorrow also asked after hearing the ancestral phoenix feather's voice transmission. The other party chose to use voice transmission because some things were not suitable for others to hear, and he chose to cooperate. "My original body is fighting in another realm. Actually, it's not just me. The supremes of the realm of the gods are all fighting there to protect the realm of the gods and prevent the experts of other realms from having the opportunity to tear through the void and slaughter the realm of the gods." The ancestral phoenix feather replied to Knight Sorrow, "That realm is called the Eternal Supreme's realm. It connects all realms in the world, and there are unimaginably strong enemies there. Even if the realm of the gods has several supremes, it's still difficult to resist them. We urgently need new blood to join us. You're exactly what we need. But I'm just a high god, and I don't have the ability to help you." Knight Sorrow felt his blood boil when he heard the ancestral phoenix feather's words, but he felt that there was nothing he could do to help. The realm of the gods had existed for so long, and it was not that there were no supremes, but that they had already gone to the Eternal Supreme's realm to fight. It was because of their protection that the realm of the gods could be peaceful. "You are indeed very weak now, but I can see the potential of a supremacy in you. As long as you grow up normally, you will become a supremacy one day, or even an existence that surpasses supremacy." The ancestral phoenix feather continued to transmit its voice to Knight Sorrow. After saying this, it might be afraid that Knight Sorrow's Tao heart would be unstable, so it continued. "In fact, even in the Eternal Supreme's realm, there are not only supremes. As long as you break through to the Divine King level, you will be able to hold your own." "I see. Knight Sorrow will cultivate to the Divine King level as soon as possible and fight for the realm of the gods in the Eternal Supreme's realm." Knight Sorrow cultivated the power of merit, so he could feel that the ancestral phoenix feather's words were not false at all. Moreover, its words were filled with a kind of powerless sorrow. Clearly, the supremes of the realm of the gods were under greater pressure in the Eternal Supreme's realm. "I am very gratified that you have such intentions." The ancestral phoenix feather's figure smiled and nodded. "One day, you will be stronger than anyone else." This was divined by another lord at the cost of 300 cycles of his lifespan. "Thank you all for your appreciation. Knight Sorrow will work hard to advance. But Lord Ancestral Phoenix, since there are several supremes in the realm of the gods, why don't we destroy the ethereal mountain and the dark forest's extraterrestrial demons?" Knight Sorrow asked, puzzled. The extraterrestrial demons had always been the realm of the gods' greatest enemy. Chapter 26-28. Of course, we have the ability to directly kill the extraterrestrial demons. The ancestral phoenix smiled and said, "But do you know that the extraterrestrial demons were originally caught by us from the Eternal Supreme realm? Our purpose is to train our descendants. If the God realm is always peaceful, although it can continue to produce rulers, it will never be able to produce supreme beings." "What? The extraterrestrial demons were caught by you from the Eternal Supreme realm?" Hearing this, Knight Sorrow suddenly felt a little incredulous. It turned out that the extraterrestrial demons that terrified people in the God realm were the training partners that the supremes of the God realm had found for their descendants. The extraterrestrial demons are ranked very low among the many races of the Eternal Supreme realm. If the cultivators of the God realm can't even fight against them, it means that the God realm is not far from destruction. The ancestral phoenix explained and sighed. The battlefield of the Eternal Supreme realm can't only be supported by us old fellows. We need to inject new blood. But I found you a little early. With Night Sorrow's current strength, I really can't help you. Night Sorrow was still very respectful to a predecessor like the Ancestral Phoenix. He lamented that his strength was not enough to help the Supremes. It's okay. You can cultivate normally. When you reach the Divine King realm, my true body will personally come to receive you. The Ancestral Phoenix said to Night Sorrow in a casual tone and continued, I have a secret technique here. When you reach the Divine King realm, learn it immediately. Your future path is very important. Whether it is the God realm or the battlefield of the Eternal Supreme realm, you are an indispensable existence. He had to master this secret technique. Otherwise, you'll be too busy. Night Sorrow will remember. Night Sorrow nodded. Supreme Phoenix Ancestor's words today had given him a hint of enlightenment. It was a feeling of being enlightened. It broadened his horizons further. Before this, Night Sorrow's gaze was fixed on the God realm like a frog at the bottom of a well. After broadening his horizons, the situation immediately changed. The heart of invincibility also rose. Just be yourself. Remember my words. Your future is extremely precious, and you won't even have the chance to accompany your family. Before I become the Divine King, I must accompany my family. Supreme Phoenix Ancestor said in a serious tone. Before continuing, the person who performed the divination for you said that it's very likely that you'll have a wife and children in the future. Don't underestimate this matter. This is a major event that can affect the future. This made Night Sorrow speechless. He didn't reply immediately. Supreme Ancestor Phoenix smiled and said, If you do, the burden on your shoulders will be much lighter. If there are no accidents, Night Sorrow may not have any more children. No matter what lies ahead of me, I, Night Sorrow, will face it on my own. Night Sorrow already had so many wives, and he had a lot of responsibilities, so he didn't want to continue dabbling in this area. All right, the choice is yours. Some people's destinies are created by themselves, transcending the rules of the heavenly Tao. Supreme Phoenix Ancestor smiled and said, There's a map here, and it's my Tao grounds from all those years ago. Help me find 2 or 3 suitable successors to head there with me. As for who will obtain the fortune, it will completely depend on their own fortune. What are the requirements for the candidates? Night Sorrow asked. He immediately thought of Wu Lingfei and Jingyun. Both of their bloodlines were related to the Phoenix. Moreover, Wu Lingfei's most important goal in coming to the God realm was to find the Phoenix ancestral grounds. You can choose your own candidates, but there are some dangers in my training ground. You'll have to complete this after reaching the divine sovereign realm. After saying this, Ancestor Phoenix Ancestor said, The energy in this feather of mine has been exhausted. The next time we meet will be when you become the Divine King. We'll meet again someday. When these words appeared in Yishang's mind, the ancestral phoenix feather, which had exhausted all its energy, completely disappeared from the world. Recalling every word the ancestral phoenix supreme being had said, Night Sorrow couldn't calm down. It took him quite a while to digest everything. Night Sorrow, are you okay? Who was that? Could it be the legendary Ancestor Phoenix? Tan Qingfeng immediately asked after Supreme Ancestor Phoenix disappeared. I'm fine, Sect Leader Tan. Night Sorrow reported that he was safe and continued. Just now, it was one of Ancestor Phoenix's feathers. In order to save me, it had used up all of its energy. Yishang, as expected, you have great achievements and are protected by your predecessors. Tan Qingfeng could not help but sigh ruefully as he watched Night Sorrow survive shelter from the cold's ambush. This was because if Night Sorrow wasn't a person of great fortune, he would have been completely annihilated by that attack. He would have completely fallen in the river of history. Night Sorrow was lucky enough to obtain a feather from Ancestor Phoenix in the Immortal Cloud Sealed Realm. Night Sorrow didn't want to dwell too much on this matter, because saying too much would bring karma to the 3 people in front of him. What he meant was that he should shoulder everything by himself. Thinking of Supreme Ancestor Phoenix's words, Night Sorrow missed his family and said, Seniors, let's hurry back to Tianyun School as soon as possible and deal with this matter before heading to Soaring Heaven Sect. Now that the heavenly demons are so rampant, they might harm the other sections. And we must pay attention to the matter of the heavenly demons. Divine King Zhuangqi nodded and said. He then looked at Tan Xingfeng and said, Sect Leader Tan, it's best to inform the other sects as soon as possible about the ambush of the heavenly demons and let them be on guard. Naturally, I have already informed Vice Sect Leader Liang and asked her to inform the other sections. Tan Xingfeng responded and said, now that the crisis has been resolved, let's immediately head to Tianyun School. After we arrive, we will discuss countermeasures. Now that the heavenly demons are so rampant, if our sects are too weak, I'm afraid they will take advantage of the situation and invade. This is a big problem. We can fight, but our rear defenses must be stable. Divine King Zhuangqi nodded. At the same time, he began to drive the Heavenly Cloud Shuttle and quickly flew towards Tianyun School. Compared to the other 5 sects, Tianyun School didn't have a strong foundation because the sect leader wasn't there. Its overall strength was the weakest. Their rear defenses were the most difficult to deal with. After returning to Tianyun School, Divine King Zhuangqing took Tan Xingfeng and the others to see Vice Sect Leader Yuan Tianji. Knight Sorrow, on the other hand, rushed back to his family's residence. The first to see Knight Sorrow return was Sikong Chuyu and Jing Yun, who were drinking tea in the bamboo forest. Jing Yun was learning the way of tea from Sikong Chuyu. Seeing Knight Sorrow return, Sikong Chuyu immediately stood up and said, Husband, you're back. How were the results of the 7-sect tournament? Although she felt that asking Knight Sorrow these things directly was not intimate enough, she couldn't resist her curiosity. Hee, not bad. 4th in the Feather God group and 1st in the High God group. As for the sect results, Tianyun School took 1st place in both the Feather God and High God groups. Chapter 26-29. 1st place in the deity group. You become a deity and won 1st place in the deity group. Sikong Chuyu asked in disbelief after hearing Knight Sorrow's words. Yes, I'm a mid-level deity now. Knight Sorrow explained with a smile. He greeted Jing Yun and asked, Where are the others? The others are cultivating in the Space Dharma artifact. Ever since you left, everyone has been cultivating very hard. I think that in the near future, the entire Night Moon clan will break through to the deity realm. Sikong Chuyu smiled and said, You and Jing Yun can chat first. I'll call the others out. With that, she happily went into the Space Dharma artifact to look for the others. Knight Sorrow had led the Tianyun School to such a good result in the 7-sect tournament. As his wife, she felt proud. Otherwise, she would feel guilty if she continued to eat and use the Tianyun School's food. Knight Sorrow, congratulations on becoming a deity. You should be much stronger than me now, right? Jing Yun, who is already a low-level divine lord, smiled and congratulated him. At this moment, she couldn't see through Knight Sorrow's aura. It felt like a mysterious veil was covering him. I'm not sure, but we'll never be on the opposite side. There's no need to worry about this. Knight Sorrow smiled and replied, Also, I've obtained a very good opportunity. I'll bring the 2 of you when I welcome a relative back. What opportunity? Jing Yun asked curiously. In fact, she had been with Knight Sorrow's family for so many days. Jing Yun, whose clan had been destroyed, was envious of Knight Sorrow's peaceful life with his family. She wasn't interested in opportunities. I'll keep you in suspense, but it's definitely an opportunity that will tempt you. Knight Sorrow explained with a smile. He was afraid that saying it would make Jing Yun's Dao heart unstable. Not everyone could face the dojo left behind by a sovereign with peace of mind. An opportunity that tempts me? Are you sure? Jing Yun looked into Knight Sorrow's eyes and asked with a smile. Her words were obviously mixed with a complicated meaning. However, Knight Sorrow didn't notice any of this. He replied with certainty, This opportunity will tempt anyone in the God realm. However, it will only belong to you and that relative of mine. Knight Sorrow then told Jing Yun about Wu Ling concubine. Jing Yun, who had already heard of the story of the dancing spirit concubine, heard it from Knight Sorrow himself, and her eyes were instantly filled with tears. Weeping Beauty said, "Knight Sorrow, you must not disappoint Ani Fei. No matter how big the matter is, you must save her first before doing it." "Yes, I will consider this matter carefully." Knight Sorrow nodded and explained, "Currently, Senior Tianqing is helping me contact this matter. I'm waiting for her news. As long as there is news from her side, even if it's a big matter, I will postpone it." To Knight Sorrow, saving Wu Ling concubine was even more important than protecting the God Realm. He naturally wouldn't delay it because of anything else. "Yes, Knight Sorrow, you're a person who values relationships. I believe you will not let down anyone around you." Jingyan smiled and looked at Knight Sorrow's wife and daughter, who were walking over. She said, "You can catch up with your family. I have already joined Tianyan School and have become a Divine King Seed. I have my own cultivation mountain." Congratulations then. I'll visit you some other day." Knight Sorrow said politely and walked towards Lin Piaomiao, who had walked out first. He asked Sister Xianer, "How do you feel? Are there any abnormalities after your recovery?" "There's nothing wrong with my body. Furthermore, I seem to be very suitable for cultivation in the God Realm." Lin Piaomiao smiled and said, "I am already a middle-level feather god, and my cultivation is very solid." "Your cultivation is indeed very solid." Knight Sorrow used the eye of the sea serpent to observe Lin Piaomiao and found that her cultivation was indeed very solid. The density of her aura was almost on par with his at the same time. After thinking for a while, he asked doubtfully, "Sister Xianer, could it be that some hidden bloodline in you has been awakened? Logically speaking, although your cultivation talent is very good, there is still a certain gap between you and me. Why does it seem that you are about the same as me at the same time?" When they were in the celestial realm, Knight Sorrow had already surpassed Lin Piaomiao. Now he found that her talent had actually changed. This kind of joyous change made him somewhat unable to understand. "I'm not sure either. Why don't you help me check my bloodline?" Lin Piaomiao said with a smile. "All right, let's go check now." For things like bloodlines, suddenly awakening was definitely a good thing. But sometimes it was accompanied by some danger. Knight Sorrow exchanged some pleasantries with the other family members and walked into the room with Lin Piaomiao to check her bloodline. After checking carefully, Knight Sorrow said in surprise, "Sister Xianer, if I didn't guess wrongly, you might be the descendant of a supreme being." "What? Descendant of a supreme being?" Hearing this, Lin Piaomiao was obviously stunned. "Yes, I just came into contact with a supreme being. The bloodline aura in your body is very similar to that supreme being's aura," Knight Sorrow said. Lin Piaomiao's newly awakened bloodline obviously contained the aura of a supreme being. This made him very surprised. Supreme being? A supreme being that is even stronger than a ruler? Lin Piaomiao asked in disbelief. In the current divine world, the strongest were the 7 rulers. Her bloodline might actually come from a supreme being that was even stronger than a ruler. Even though Lin Piaomiao was very knowledgeable and mentally strong, she was still stunned. If it was in the past, I wouldn't be sure what bloodline Sister Xianer had awakened. But I just came into contact with a supreme being, and I know very well what this aura means. Knight Sorrow said and slowly told Lin Piaomiao all the information he got from Ancestor Phoenix. Hearing Knight Sorrow's words, Lin Piaomiao was stunned for a moment. Then, she said with determination, "Husband, no matter what, our family will shoulder the future responsibilities together. I'm not afraid of shouldering the entire divine world. I'm just afraid that I won't have time to accompany you." Lin Piaomiao's words warmed Knight Sorrow's heart. He softly expressed his worries. If there were no accidents, after he advanced to the Divine King realm, he would disappear for a very long time. "Actually, it's fine. Your family naturally wants to be by your side, but they definitely won't be a burden to you. Moreover, there is no time in the divine world. Everyone's lifespan is endless. Even if you spend more time doing other things, there will be a day when you can spend more time with your family," Lin Piaomiao said gently. Hearing Sister Xianer's words, my mood is much better. Night Sorrow's face revealed a trace of determination. He said, Sister Shienner, don't worry. If there is a day when I leave, I will create a pure land for my family in advance. A pure land that no one dares to invade. It is the same kind of existence as a ruler's territory. Sister Xian believes in you. Lin Piamiao smiled and said, let's go out. They should have prepared a banquet. After the banquet, there are still some things waiting for you. What things? Night Sorrow asked, puzzled. Chapter 2630. I'm not sure. Sister Shienner, what's the matter? Night Sorrow chased out of the room and asked. He had participated in the 7-sect tournament and hadn't returned for a long time. Naturally, he didn't know what his wives were planning. Lin Piamiao didn't reveal anything and said, you will know after the banquet. This. All right then. Night Sorrow nodded and said, let's not talk about this anymore. Sister Xian, bloodline must be kept a secret. Even if the sovereigns knew about your bloodline, they might not be able to resist the urge to snatch it away. With our current strength, we can't stop the sovereigns from coveting it. I'm preparing to learn a secret technique to hide my bloodline, but I don't know where to get it. Lin Piamiao said, there were many secret techniques to hide one's bloodline, but there were very few that could hide the sovereign bloodline. That's a problem. I'll ask Deputy Sect Leader Yuan tomorrow. Night Sorrow said and went to the bamboo forest to prepare the banquet with Lin Piamiao. Sikong Chiyu, Yang Lei, Aoi, Shueshi, and Dachira were all busy. The few girls, who had different personalities, were now enjoying the atmosphere. They were all talking and laughing. As for Night Sorrow's children, most of them had already chosen to enter the realm of the gods to train. They knew that if they continued to rely on their father, they would become dependent on him, and it would be detrimental to their growth. 13. Not long after you left, Deputy Sect Leader Yuan moved out this mountain and gave it to us. Now it's called Night Moon Mountain. Seeing Night Sorrow's arrival, Yang Lei said happily, in the world of cultivators, people rarely gathered together. A banquet like this was rarely held. Deputy Sect Leader Yuan is generous, but it's not good for us to take over his place like this. Under Yang Lei's lead, Night Sorrow sat on a bamboo chair and enjoyed the tea that had just been poured. There's nothing bad about it. Vice Headmaster Yuan has been increasing his strength recently. It is said that he is preparing to become the acting headmaster and in the situation of the Tianyin school. Yang Lei continued, so Vice Sect Leader Yuan has already moved to the main peak. This is a good thing. Now is an opportunity. Night Sorrow took a sip of tea and agreed with Yuan Tianji's approach. The disappearance of Tianyin School's overlord meant that someone else had to replace him. Now that Ho Jun's faction had basically been eliminated, it was a better choice for Yuan Tianji to become the acting overlord at this time. Even though the matter has already been decided, Vice Sect Head Yuan said that if one's strength isn't sufficient, he won't be the sect head. We still have to wait for a while. Yang Lei explained. She then smiled and said, Little 13, the banquet is over. There's something waiting for you. Are you ready? What is it? Night Sorrow almost spat out a mouthful of tea when he heard this. Lin Piamiao said mysteriously. Now that it was Yang Lei's turn to say it, he had an ominous feeling. You'll know when the time comes. Sikong Chiyu, who happened to pass by, said with a smile. Anyway, it's a good thing. All right, a good thing, a good thing. Night Sorrow replied with a guilty conscience. Sikong Chiyu and Yang Lei laughed. Not long after, the few girls prepared a family banquet and invited most of the members of the Night Moon dynasty. Night Sorrow, who was drinking tea, stood up immediately when he saw his grandfather, Yi Linghuan. He asked, Grandpa, how are you feeling? Night Sorrow was very concerned about Yi Linghuan's recovery after his energy center was destroyed by Ling Yun previously. It's nothing serious, but I still feel a little indignant when I think about what happened back then. Yi Linghuan sat on the chair with a good complexion. He took a sip of tea and asked, When do you plan to bring back your Annie Fei? In the plan, as long as Senior Tianqing sends news, I'll go and rescue Annie Fei immediately, Night Sorrow replied. No, what you're doing is wrong. Yi Linghuan tapped the table and said, Your Annie Fei was severely injured while trying to save you. Her abduction is directly related to you. Your current strength has long surpassed Ling Yun's strength back then. This matter can't wait any longer. The men of the Yi family have an indomitable spirit. Rescuing your Annie Fei has to be the top priority. Grandpa is right. It's Knight Sorrow's fault. Knight Sorrow bowed to his grandfather. He felt that the other party was right. He didn't do enough to rescue Annie Fei. It's great that you can correct your mistakes. Yi Linghuan nodded and said, I'll remember this well. Also, after the banquet, there's something for you to deal with. Grandpa, what are you talking about? Hearing this, Yi Shang asked with a speechless expression. Good. Do you think we'll harm you? Yi Linghuan snorted coldly. All right, I won't ask. After being mocked, Yi Shang shook his head and left with a smile. When most of the people from the Yi family arrived, he began to drink with everyone. Although the Night Moon dynasty hadn't been in the God Realm for long, their strength had increased by leaps and bounds. Now, there were many feather gods. Even Knight Sorrow's parents were half-step feather gods. This kind of increase in strength was incomparable in the lower realms. Seeing the rapid growth of his clansmen, Knight Sorrow was in a good mood and drank a lot of wine. After the banquet, he felt a little tipsy. This was a feeling he hadn't felt in a long time. Lying on the bamboo chair, he enjoyed it very much. Husband, how does it feel to have a family? Dachura, who was already a feather god, walked over and massaged Knight Sorrow's shoulders. That goes without saying. Yi Shang closed his eyes comfortably. After massaging his shoulders for a while, Dachura continued. I know you enjoy the atmosphere of a family. The sisters are all waiting for you in the room. Waiting for me? So that's what everyone was talking about? Hearing this, Knight Sorrow smiled and thought. So they're preparing to spend the night together. This kind of opportunity to sleep together is rare. Hee. At this moment, Dachura gave off a seductive feeling, which made Knight Sorrow feel a little strange. She used to be the master of a world and had a high and mighty temperament. Now that she was a little woman, the temptation was not small. Shall we go now? Dachura asked with a playful expression. Let's go. Knight Sorrow said with a smile. Even if there are 6 of you, I have nothing to fear. Let's all attack together. Along the way, Knight Sorrow and Dachura chatted and laughed, talking about some interesting things that happened when they met. Not long after, they arrived at the room where his wives were. As expected, Knight Sorrow walked into the room and saw that his 5 wives were all wearing thin clothes. He immediately had a certain reaction. Some desires could not be severed just by increasing strength. If everyone was pure, the God realm would be very harmonious. Come, let's talk on the bed. Chapter 26:31. Haha, I'm coming. Hearing this, Yi Shang took off his blue phoenix battle armor and some of his undergarments, revealing his muscular body. He, seeing Knight Sorrow's anxious look, always smiled and said, What's the name of the armor you took off? The blue phoenix armor. Jingyun gave it to me. Knight Sorrow replied and walked to the bed. At this moment, Yang Lei snorted and said, Let's talk while standing below. What's going on? Knight Sorrow asked in confusion. Weren't they going to sleep together? How could they sleep together while standing? Do you know what's going on with the blue phoenix armor? Yang Lei retracted the smile on her face and asked, What's going on? Knight Sorrow asked in confusion. Isn't the blue phoenix armor just a defensive equipment given by a friend? What's there to talk about? The blue phoenix armor was made by Jingyun using her own bloodline. Yang Lei sighed and said, It's a defensive robe with spirituality. Whenever you're attacked, Jingyun will help you take half of the damage. Do you know how much harm Jingyun has suffered during your campaigns all these years? What? The blue phoenix armor? There's such a thing? Hearing Yang Lei's words, Knight Sorrow's mind buzzed. He had experienced countless battles over the years, and the blue phoenix armor had helped him take a lot of damage. If Jingyun had to take half of the damage, then she must have been seriously injured. After all, his opponents were all very strong. You should have known that a battle armor made with bloodline power isn't that simple. Always shook her head and asked, What are you going to do now? Knight Sorrow was speechless and didn't know how to answer. Normally, when he was fighting outside, He was like a rock that couldn't be moved by anything. But now it was completely different. What about you? Tell me, what are you going to do to prevent Jing Yun from getting hurt? Sikong Chuyu also opened her mouth. Her tone was not the same as her usual gentle tone. Meanwhile, Shueshi spoke in a gentle voice. Jing Yun is truly too pitiful. Not only was her clan annihilated, she even suffered so much. What do you want me to do? If Yishang still didn't understand what his wives were saying, then he would be too stupid. He opened his mouth and asked in return, "Marry Jingyan back. She has already suffered enough. She needs the warmth of a family," Lin Piaomiao said calmly. I only need you guys." Regarding this matter, Night Sorrow felt a little uneasy. He had a certain level of feelings for Jingyun, but he felt that it wasn't to that extent. But Jingyun's life is too hard. She needs her family's love and care. Dachira looked at Night Sorrow. "Although we don't want you to share your love with her, Jingyun is worth our sacrifice." Back then, if it wasn't for Jingyun guarding Night Moon Dynasty's residence, I'm afraid many of our people would have died in the Night Moon Dynasty. "What's going on?" Yishang asked fearfully when he heard this. "Did you really think that Night Moon Dynasty's life in the realm of the gods was smooth sailing when you left?" Sikong Chuyu's brows had a trace of seriousness. "Actually, it wasn't like that. If it wasn't for Jingyun risking her life to protect me, I would have been abducted when I was in High Bay City. There's such a thing? When did this happen?" Night Sorrow almost exploded when he heard this. He didn't know that such a thing had happened. "The person who did evil has already been killed by Jingyun. I haven't told you about this matter, but today I have to let you know everything." Sikong Chuyu said faintly, "Go and marry Jingyun back." Night Sorrow was still a little hesitant. He felt that his heart hadn't recovered yet. What about you? Little 13, let me tell you, during this period of time in the realm of the gods, Jingyun has protected Night Moon Dynasty more than you." Yang Lei snorted and said, "If you don't marry her back, don't ever step into this house again. Get out." "Is this what all of you mean?" Night Sorrow raised his head and looked at the other girls. "There's no need to ask." Sikong Chuyu, Yang Lei, Aoi, Shueshi, Dachira, and Lin Piaomiao said in unison, "All right, I'll go and find her. At least I won't let everyone down." Night Sorrow put on the Azure Phoenix battle armor and walked out of the room. But not long after he walked out, Night Sorrow turned back and asked, "Where is Jing Yun's mountain peak?" "It's not far from here. It's that one." Sikong Chuyu walked out of the room and flew into the air to guide Night Sorrow. "Okay, I got it." Night Sorrow nodded and flew directly to the mountain peak that the Tianyun school had given to Jing Yun. Now that things had developed like this, he didn't feel conflicted anymore. He was prepared to face his heart and marry Jing Yun. He still had a good impression of the gentle Jing Yun, but he didn't dare to face so many wives at home. Now that he thought about it, Jing Yun had done a lot for him. Just thinking about it made his heart ache. "They've already arranged the wedding procession for me?" Night Sorrow, who was flying in the air, saw a long line at the bottom of the mountain peak as he approached Jing Yun's endless peak. This line was made up of thousands of people. Some were carrying the betrothal gifts, while others were carrying the bridal sedan. At first, Night Sorrow thought that his wives had arranged it for him. But after seeing it clearly, his expression changed. In the line, there was a man wearing a red robe and riding a horse. He was obviously dressed as the groom. "What's going on?" Night Sorrow released his divine soul power and scanned the man in red. He realized that he had a dignified appearance and was a middle-level godly lord. He was a talent. "Jingyun, marry me. I, Ning Tianan, will make you happy." "Jingyun, marry me. I, Ning Tianan, will make you happy." "Jingyun, marry me. I, Ning Tianan, will make you happy." At this moment, the man in red gathered his divine essence and shouted at the top of his lungs. "So it's a proposal." Night Sorrow, who was originally worried, calmed down immediately. When he saw the wedding procession, he was still worried that Jing Yun had already agreed to it. "Ning Tianan leave. I won't agree to it." Not long later, Jing Yun's slightly cold voice came from the endless peak. Ning Tianan smiled and said, "Jing Yun, you still don't know, right?" My grandfather is Grand Elder Ning Changhe, one of the most powerful people in Tianyun School. As long as you marry me, you can do whatever you want in Tianyun School in the future. I don't need this. Please leave. Jingyun's voice came again. Ning Tianan's expression turned ugly when he heard this. He suppressed his anger and said, Jingyun, I've been deeply mesmerized by you since the first time I saw you. Why don't you reconsider? My grandfather also agrees to our marriage. Chapter 2632. Ning Tianan's grandfather, Ning Changhe, was one of the two grand elders of Tianyun School. Since the Tianyun School sect leader was missing, as the top fighter of Tianyun School, he was indeed very powerful and had a lot of say. Although Ning Tianan wasn't in the top 5 among the Divine King seeds of Tianyun School, his status was only second to the legendary Mu Baiyu because of his grandfather's power. A few days ago, at the ceremony where Jing Yun joined the Tianyun clan, Ning Tianan saw Jing Yun and had the intention to make her his. Hence, he proposed to her today. At this time, Jing Yun continued to reply coldly, Please go back. I'm not close to you and don't know your grandfather. This matter will end here. Jing Yun, think about it again. This matter will only be beneficial to you and won't harm you at all. Ning Tianan led the bridal escort team and blocked the entrance of Endless Peak. He didn't seem to care and had no intention of leaving. I said I won't think about it. Please don't disturb my cultivation. Ning Tianan refused to leave shamelessly. Jing Yun's tone became heavier. Jing Yun, are you refusing a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit? Jing Yun's tone became heavier. Ning Tianan's face darkened completely. He roared, I also told you that you have to agree to today's matter even if you don't want to. You have no sense of shame. Jing Yun had a gentle personality, but she was still infuriated by Ning Tianan. So what if I have no sense of shame? My grandfather is the top fighter of Tianyun School. Even if I take you back by force, no one will dare to say anything. Ning Tianan shouted in disdain and ordered, Since she doesn't want to give me face, attack, and take her back by force. Ning Tianan, don't you care about the sect rules? Seeing that Ning Tianan was about to attack, Jing Yun scolded angrily. He had a few monarch gods under him. She wasn't confident in dealing with them. Sect rules? Sect rules? Those are just rules and regulations to restrain weak people like you. To me, those are nothing. Ning Tianan laughed arrogantly. Do you think that you can do whatever you want just because you have a grand elder as your grandfather? At this time, Knight Sorrow, who couldn't stand it anymore, slowly appeared and criticized Ning Tianan. Who are you? After being scolded, Ning Tianan looked angrily at Knight Sorrow. When he realized that it was the exalted god, he said in disdain, Anyone can kill him. Also, the other Sir Gods, follow me. Break the array formation of the Endless Peak and capture Jing Yun. This young master wants to consummate his marriage tonight. Bridal chamber? You don't have to think about it anymore. The infuriated Knight Sorrow shouted coldly. Then, he took out his heavenly samsara halberd and charged towards Ning Tianan. Seeing Knight Sorrow appear, Jing Yun, who was originally a little flustered, appeared from the Endless Peak. There was a hint of a smile on her face. Knight Sorrow's appearance at such a crucial moment warmed her heart. Ignorant ant, how dare you find trouble with this young master? No one in Tianyun School can save you. Facing Knight Sorrow's attack, Ning Tianan, who originally wanted the others to attack, shouted, No one needs to attack. Leave this ant for me to vent my anger. Sky-piercing finger. Facing Knight Sorrow, Ning Tianan used his ultimate technique. To him, Ning Tianan was just an exalted god. He couldn't even last one round. Ignorant fool. Knight Sorrow used his heavenly samsara halberd to use the samsara strike and shattered the sky-piercing finger. Then, he attacked Ning Tianan's face. Oh no! Save the master. Seeing Knight Sorrow attack, the 5 or 6 Sir Gods beside Ning Tianan all moved to block Knight Sorrow's attack. Get lost. Those who block me will die. Ning Tianan's actions had crossed Knight Sorrow's bottom line. Whether it was from Tianyun School's point of view or Jingyun's point of view, he wanted to kill Ning Tianan. Facing the obstruction of the Sir Gods, Knight Sorrow used the Trestrimsa Samsara secret technique and used the Roaring Flames demon subduing. At the same time, he used the third move of the Green Rock soul-splitting roar. Third roar shatters Samsara. Once this roar was heard, the sky changed color. The Sir Gods, including Ning Tianan, were all shaken to the core by the roar. Forbidden Spear. While they were momentarily stunned, Knight Sorrow used his heavenly Samsara halberd to attack. Just as Ning Tianan was about to dodge, he unleashed the Divine Essence dragon locking formation to bind him within. Oh no! Grandpa, save me! Grandpa, save me! Someone wants to kill me. Facing this attack, Ning Tianan felt that he had no ability to resist and immediately shouted, "Who dares to hurt my grandson?" Ning Tianan shouted. Elder Sang's voice immediately sounded from a corner of Tianyan School. Your grandson disregarded the rules of the sect and snatched the Divine King's seed. He's already sentenced to death. Facing Ning Changhe, the #1 expert of Tianyan School, Knight Sorrow didn't have the slightest bit of fear. Ning Tianan was such a lawless person. He had to get rid of him today. Do you have any evidence for your words? Divine King Ning Changhe's voice sounded again. When he said this, his voice was extremely cold and contained a strong, murderous intent. I saw it with my own eyes and heard it with my own ears. What evidence do I need? Knight Sorrow asked with a cold smile. Is that so? Then why don't you kill one for me to see? I like to see who dares to touch my family in front of me. Divine King Ning Changhe's voice was raised a few octaves, and it resounded throughout the entire Tianyan School. Little B asterisk starred, continue to be arrogant and challenge me. With his grandpa backing him up, Ning Tianan instantly started to provoke him arrogantly. You don't have to be arrogant. Today, it won't be just you. Even your grandpa won't be kind. Knight Sorrow glared at Ning Tianan and looked in the direction of the voice. Your family is your family. Don't tell me that Knight Sorrow's family isn't your family. A faint smile appeared on Jing Yun's face when she heard Yi Shang call her family. However, she was worried that Knight Sorrow would challenge the Divine King because of her. Knight Sorrow, you're just an exalted god. Who do you think you are? Today, I'll kill an arrogant little guy like you. I'll show you the rules of Tianyan School. Ning Changhe's voice was getting closer. Before he arrived, he had already launched an attack in the direction of Knight Sorrow. Ha ha ha! Who told you to be arrogant? Let's see how you'll die. Seeing that the Divine King Ning Changhe was attacking Knight Sorrow, Ning Tianan revealed a sinister smile. See how I'll die? You guys should die instead. Knight Sorrow sneered. He didn't even blink in the face of the Divine King's attack. Although Knight Sorrow didn't move at all, Ning Changhe's attack didn't even touch a strand of his hair. This was because the Divine King Zhuang Qing, who had rushed over after hearing the commotion, had already made his move. The Divine King Zhuang Qing, who had blocked Ning Changhe's attack, scolded him coldly. Ning Changhe, even if you were on the side of that scum Ho Jun, I wouldn't have any intention to kill you. However, you're seeking your own death by attacking Knight Sorrow. Hee, who do you think you are? You're just a lower Divine King. How dare you stop me? Ning Changhe, who was arrogant to a certain extent, didn't care about Knight Sorrow at all. He didn't even care about the Divine King Zhuang Qing at all. Ning Changhe, there's a saying that goes, you reap what you sow. Originally, I wanted to spare your life in order to preserve the strength of Tianyan School. However, it seems like you have no intention of living. Chapter 26:33. In fact, Yuan Tianji was already a divine king long ago. He had just been enduring it and pretending to be a half-step divine king. Today, he felt confident that he could defeat all of Ho Jun's people. Hence, he displayed his strength in front of everyone. Although he was only a lower divine king at perfected realm, and Ning Changhe was a middle divine king, he had the confidence to challenge him. Facing Yuan Tianji and Zhuang Qing, the two divine kings, Ning Changhe was stunned at first. Then he laughed and said, "Two divine kings, this is a good card, but what awaits you is only the destruction of your divine souls." Ning Changhe's face revealed a trace of madness. He looked a little evil, and there was a faint black aura flowing around him. Ning Changhe, you're too confident. Although I, Yuan Tianji, am only a lower divine king, I'm not afraid of a middle divine king like you. Together with the divine king Zhuang Qing, killing you will be a piece of cake. Ning Changhe's smile was extremely evil. A trace of doubt flashed across Yuan Tianji's mind, but he still scolded him, wanting to test his opponent's confidence. Ning Changhe, this old thing is a little strange. He's different from before. I think he might have been possessed by the devil. The divine king Zhuang Qing and Ning Changhe were both grand elders of the Tianyin school, so they were very familiar with him. Although Ning Changhe's character was not good in the past, he was definitely not as crazy as he was now. Deputy Sect Leader Yuan, Grand Elder Zhuang, be careful. Ning Changhe has a very strong extraterrestrial demon aura. If I'm not wrong, he might be hiding a Divine King-level extraterrestrial demon. Knight Sorrow, who was observing Ning Changhe with the eye of the sea serpent, transmitted his voice to Yuan Tianji and Zhuang Qing, reminding them to be careful. When Ning Changhe first appeared, there was no extraterrestrial demon aura on him. However, as his divine essence erupted, the extraterrestrial demon aura gradually spread out uncontrollably. Others might not be able to sense it clearly, but Knight Sorrow had the power of merit, so he could sense it clearly. Moreover, his eye of the sea serpent could also see the faint black aura, which was the characteristic of the extraterrestrial demon. I see. Although Ning Changhe was arrogant in the past, he would never do such a presumptuous thing in the sect. It seems that his mind has been completely influenced by the extraterrestrial demon. Hearing Knight Sorrow's voice, Yuan Tianji's voice, no matter what happened later, the Tianyin school's strength would have an obvious decline, which was something he did not want to see. His ambition was to lead the Tianyin clan well on behalf of the missing clan master. Huang Qing, between the eyebrows of the Divine King, the Zhuang Qing was completely filled with battle intent. To them, today was the best time to eliminate the Tianyin school. As he spoke, he waved his hand and struck a palm at Ning Changhe. It was a probing palm, which was just to put pressure on Ning Changhe. All right, today we will completely eliminate the trash in Tianyin school. Yuan Tianji roared and attacked Ning Changhe as well. He wanted Ning Changhe to summon the extraterrestrial demon. At the same time, he sent a voice transmission to Knight Sorrow. Only the sect master can activate the sect formation. Enter the basement from under my bed in my original palace and activate the formation I set up. There are the divine crystals needed to activate the formation. Today, neither Ning Changhe nor the extraterrestrial demon can be spared. I will go after I kill Ning Tianan. Hearing Yuan Tianji's voice transmission, Knight Sorrow responded and struck a thunderous blow at Ning Tianan. When Ning Tianan wanted to dodge, he used the Divine Vitality Dragon Locking Array to bind him. Ning Tianan, who was trapped in the enclosed space, quickly cried for help. When he fought with Knight Sorrow just now, he was already at a disadvantage and had no courage to fight. Be ** starred. An exalted god ant, you still dare to attack at this moment. How dare you? Seeing Knight Sorrow attacking Ning Tianan again, Ning Changhe immediately struck a palm in anger. Your opponent is us. However, with Yuan Tianji and Zhuang Qing blocking him, this attack obviously didn't pose any threat to Knight Sorrow. Go to hell. Ning Changhe's attack didn't come. Under the obstruction of some Sir Gods, Knight Sorrow directly pierced through Ning Tianan's chest with his halberd. I said that what awaits you is the destruction of your divine soul. After piercing through Ning Tianan's chest, Knight Sorrow waved his hand and shattered his elixir field. Then he pierced his immortal sea and killed him completely. How dare you kill my grandson? Ant, you're courting death. Ning Changhe, who was restrained, saw Knight Sorrow killing Ning Tianan instantly. He was so angry that his eyes turned red. At this moment, he said coldly, Today, I'm going to massacre the entire Tianyin school. All of you must die. As soon as he finished speaking, Ning Changhe summoned 4 divine king-level extraterrestrial demons. These four Divine King-level extraterrestrial demons were similar in strength to shelter from the cold that Night Sorrow had encountered before. Ning Changhe regretted summoning these four extraterrestrial demons only now. If he had summoned them earlier, Ning Tianan might not have been killed by Night Sorrow instantly. Ning Changhe, it seems like you've colluded with the extraterrestrial demons. This is a complete betrayal of the sect and the entire realm of gods. Today Yuan Tianji, will definitely clean up Tianyin School. When Yuan Tianji saw Ning Changhe summoning four Divine King-level extraterrestrial demons, he couldn't help but feel relieved at the same time. If Ning Changhe had summoned these evil creatures earlier, the entire Tianyin School would definitely be massacred. However, with Tan Qingfeng and Fan Xianyun, the two Divine King from Tianqing Gate, present today, even if Ning Changhe summoned four Divine King-level extraterrestrial demons, Tianyin School would still be able to put up a fight. It seems like some things are really related to fate. Unknowingly, Night Sorrow's fate is affecting the entire Tianyin School's fate. Seeing Ning Changhe summoning four Divine King-level extraterrestrial demons, Zhuangqing and the Divine King were also relieved. They thought that if Tan Qingfeng hadn't come to Tianyin School with Night Sorrow to befriend him, Tianyin School might have been destroyed directly this time. Ha! Yuan Tianji, you and Zhuangqing are two pieces of trash. You want to go against the five Divine King-level extraterrestrials? Hearing Yuan Tianji's words, Ning Changhe laughed with an evil face. In his opinion, it was simply impossible for Yuan Tianji and Zhuangqing to defeat the five Divine King-level extraterrestrials. Today, not only would Yuan Tianji and Zhuangqing die, but the entire Tianyin School would also be massacred. He wanted to avenge his grandson. Man proposes, God disposes. Ning Changhe, I'm here. It's not up to you and these bastards to act presumptuously. At this moment, Tan Qingfeng appeared in midair. Just now, he had been hiding in Lu Qingyuan's spatial magic device. You extraterrestrial demons have schemed against the major sects time and time again. It seems like we need to settle the score. A moment later, Fan Xianyun's figure also appeared. He stared coldly at the extraterrestrial demons in front of him. Chapter 2634. Tianqing Gate's Gate Master, Tan Qingfeng. Hasn't Tianqing Gate always been at odds with Tianyin School? Mu Baiyu once killed your personal disciple. Why are you here now? Ning Changhe was stunned when he saw the upper-level Divine King, Tan Qingfeng. However, he was only stunned for a moment before he questioned him with a crazed expression. My disciple was killed. That's a small grudge. You colluded with the extraterrestrial demons. To the cultivators of Yunxian continent, that's a huge grudge. Today, I, Tan Qingfeng, will destroy your souls. Tan Qingfeng had a murderous look on his face. He was not careless at all when facing the extraterrestrial demons. If that's the case, you could die too. Ning Changhe roared with a cold expression. Kill, kill, kill. Destroy the entire Tianyin School. Although he's an upper-level Divine King, we have five Divine Kings. They shouldn't be a match for us. Among them, the extraterrestrial demon Black River analyzed the situation and said, the four of you stall these four Divine Kings. I'll kill all the disciples of Tianyin School first. After killing all the ants, I'll cooperate with you to kill these Divine Kings. All right, you take care of that Night Sorrow who killed my grandson first. Ning Changhe, who had a crazed look on his face, said something to the extraterritorial demon named Heihe before continuing to fight with Yuan Tianji. Jing Yun, go to Deputy Sect Master Yuan's former residence. Enter the secret passage under the bed and activate the array he set up. Night Sorrow originally planned to activate the array set up by Yuan Tianji after killing Ning Tianan. However, when the battle between Divine Kings started, a Divine King immediately chased after him. Seeing this, he quickly sent a telepathic message to Jing Yun. But what about you? Seeing that Night Sorrow was being targeted by a Divine King-level extraterrestrial demon, Jing Yun didn't want to leave and was prepared to help. However, before she could finish her sentence, Night Sorrow interrupted her. Night Sorrow said in a serious tone, "Go. Don't waste a single second. Otherwise, Tianyin School would be in big trouble today." Judging from the current situation, this extra Divine King Black River was the variable in the normal battle situation. Without the Divine King to keep it in check, it could slaughter without restraint. Night Sorrow felt that activating the array would have a positive impact on the battle. Hence, he gave Jingyun an absolute order. "All right, be careful." After glancing at Night Sorrow, who was being chased by the Divine King, Jingyun, who was extremely worried, gave her orders and rushed towards Night Moon Peak amidst the chaos. Although she left decisively, she was still very worried about Night Sorrow's safety. No matter how strong Night Sorrow was, he was only a mid-level Divine King. His opponent was the insufferably arrogant Divine King. This wasn't a fair battle at all. Merit deity, your flesh and blood must be incomparably delicious. The other Divine King were all busy killing each other. With no one stopping him, Black River roared proudly. As a Divine King, he had absolute confidence in dealing with Night Sorrow. Although he didn't seem to be in a rush when he attacked, every attack would threaten Night Sorrow's life. At this moment, the four Divine King, Tan Xingfeng, Fan Xianyun, Yuan Tianji, and Zhuang Qing, were all pinned down and couldn't care about anything else. Ning Changhe and the other three Divine King level extraterrestrial demons were desperately exhausting the four Divine Kings. Clearly, they were trying to buy time for Black River. At the same time, many Divine Lords from the Tianyin School suddenly betrayed him. These people's eyes were filled with a strong red color. They weren't afraid of being injured at all when they fought. Clearly, they had been dominated by their demonic nature. Lu Qingyuan and the other elders brought some godly king seedlings and engaged in a massacre with the godly monarchs who had gone mad. Facing a real Divine King, how can I break out of this situation? Night Sorrow, who was being chased by Black River, knew that it was impossible for him to defeat the Divine King. However, he naturally wouldn't sit still and wait for death. Every attack from Black River just now was terrifying, but he had successfully dodged 4 or 5 attacks. However, if this continued, he would be hit sooner or later. Night Sorrow, stay closer to me. If you're too far away, I won't be able to help you. At this moment, Tan Xingfeng transmitted his voice to Night Sorrow. He was the upper-level Divine King and was the strongest person present. However, he couldn't spare too much energy to help Night Sorrow when fighting against a mid-level Divine King extraterrestrial demon. Okay, Night Sorrow, who had no other choice, responded and moved closer to Tan Xingfeng. This was the only way. Huh, you're trying to escape to the upper-level Divine King? That's a good plan, but you can't do it. Merit deity, you'd better let me eat you up. Extraterrestrial demon Black River instantly saw through Night Sorrow's intention. He stood between Night Sorrow and Tan Xingfeng and didn't give him a chance at all. The aura on his body was extremely evil and gave people an extremely uncomfortable feeling. After blocking Night Sorrow, he completely unleashed the power of the Divine King extraterrestrial demon and used his divine domain to bind Night Sorrow. He smiled coldly and said, "Your strength is not bad. You're a high god, but you're stronger than most Divine Lords. But your path will only end here, because I, Black River, will kill you with my own hands. You can die with pride if you can last a few rounds in the hands of the Divine King." The Divine King's divine domain. Night Sorrow was suppressed by the Divine King's divine domain. Although he could rely on his powerful body to move, his speed was very slow. If Black River attacked again, he wouldn't be able to dodge at all. Under such circumstances, Night Sorrow made up his mind and swallowed a pill to recover his divine essence energy. He completely recovered and activated the Treistrimsa battle mystic technique, ready to fight to the death. He thought that even if he died in battle, he wouldn't let Black River have an easy time. In the end, he could choose to self-destruct even his body and some Sar halberd. Raging Flames Demon subduing. Virtuous Dragon lock formation. When Black River fought Night Sorrow, it was like a cat playing with a mouse. This also gave him a chance to attack. After using these two moves, Night Sorrow used the third move of the Green Rock, Soul-Rending Roar, triple roar shattering samsara. Ha ha ha. Ant, you still don't know how big the gap between the Divine King and the High Gods is, right? In the face of Night Sorrow's attack, Black River, who is only slightly affected by the virtuous dragon-locking formation, said in a cold voice filled with ridicule. Black River, everyone is fighting to the death to stop the other Divine King for you. What are you doing? Why do you need so much time to kill a high god? At this moment, extraterrestrial demon Black Star, who was fighting Tan Xing Feng, reprimanded him unhappily. I'll kill him now. Hearing this, Black River's aura became even stronger. When he attacked again, the strength was completely different. At this moment, Night Sorrow was suppressed by the opponent's divine domain. Even moving became difficult, let alone dodging Black River's attack. Go to hell. An ant will be an ant in the end. After attacking, Black River looked at Night Sorrow with disdain. This time, he was going all out. I can't block it. Facing this attack, Night Sorrow knew in his heart that he couldn't block it. Chapter 2635. The murderous aura was a little dense. Night Sorrow knew that it was impossible for him to completely block the Divine King's attack. In that instant, he glanced in the direction of Night Moon Peak and made a decision to self-destruct. He wanted to self-destruct his body and the heavenly Samsara halberd to deal a blow to Black River. You want to self-destruct to deal with me? You're thinking too much. Even if an ant self-destructs, it will still be the power of an ant. Black River looked at Night Sorrow with a strange smile. He was absolutely confident that he could escape unscathed from the self-destruction. After all, the Divine King's understanding of space was not something that the exalted gods could compare to. Junior Night Sorrow, don't be rash. I will help you. However, just as Night Sorrow was about to self-destruct, a voice suddenly sounded from the bottom of his heart. This voice was very gentle. He couldn't tell if it was a male or a female, but it gave off a sense of stability. Junior, you are? Hearing this address, Night Sorrow was clearly a little surprised. He couldn't think of any senior in Tianyan school. Just as Night Sorrow opened his mouth to ask, a white figure floated over from the horizon and slashed Black River's attack with a sword. Divine Lord, you can break my attack? Who are you? Black River was clearly a little surprised that his sure-kill attack towards Night Sorrow was broken. He looked at the newcomer and snorted coldly. The other party was only a Divine Lord, but the strength of his divine essence energy was almost on par with the Divine King. Tianyan School's Mu Baiyu. Mu Baiyu, who was dressed in white, replied and continued to attack Black River with his sword. Senior Mu Baiyu, thank you for saving my life. Night Sorrow was very grateful that Mu Baiyu had appeared and saved him. He noticed that Mu Baiyu, who was fighting He, was not at a disadvantage at all. In fact, he even seemed to be suppressing He. It was rumored that it was already a miracle for the invincible god monarchs of the god realm to not be at a disadvantage when fighting against the Divine King. It was almost impossible for them to defeat him completely. Yet Mu Baiyu was showing signs of victory. However, Night Sorrow was dumbfounded when he used the sea serpent's eye to take a look. He discovered that Mu Baiyu, the legend of Tianyan School and the object of admiration of countless female disciples, was actually a female cultivator. If this matter were to spread, it would definitely break the hearts of countless female disciples. Of course, this was also good news for the male disciples. Junior brother Night Sorrow, there's no need to be so polite. You've won supreme glory for the sect in the 7 Sects tournament. I won't watch you get slaughtered by the extraterrestrial demons. Mu Baiyu, who was fighting against Black River, was clearly at ease. He even had the time to send a sound transmission to Night Sorrow. Senior sister, I'll lend you a hand. Night Sorrow felt a little awkward when he called a woman senior sister. While Mu Baiyu was fighting against Black River, Night Sorrow used the Virtuous Dragon Lock Array to help her restrict Black River's movements. Although the Virtuous Dragon Lock Array couldn't restrict the Divine King, it could obviously reduce his speed. After being interrupted by Night Sorrow, Black River, who was already at a disadvantage, immediately became more passive. Black River, what are you doing? You can't even kill a high god, and are at a disadvantage against a divine monarch. Are you still the divine king? Black Star, who was facing Tan Xingfeng, noticed that Black River was being suppressed by a divine monarch and roared in anger. It's not that I'm not strong enough. The opponent's cultivation level is a divine monarch, but his actual combat strength is definitely at the level of the divine king. That high god and also has special methods that make me feel very uncomfortable, Black River explained with grievance. Ever since he became the divine king, he had never seen such a powerful high god and divine monarch. He was very angry. What did you call me? Mu Baiyu, who heard Night Sorrow call her senior sister, sent a cold voice transmission. Her body trembled slightly. Nothing. I'll cooperate with you to kill the opponent. Mu Baiyu's reaction was very obvious when she heard him call her senior sister. Night Sorrow felt that he had said too much. However, Mu Baiyu continued to ask, "Did you call me senior sister just now?" "Yes, but I'll help you hide this secret." Night Sorrow guessed that she definitely didn't want to expose her identity as a female cultivator, so he replied, "So, you already know that I'm a female cultivator?" Mu Baiyu continued to ask. There was a trace of complexity in her tone. "If I didn't know that you're a female cultivator, why would I call you senior sister?" Night Sorrow muttered in his heart. However, he naturally wouldn't say that out loud. He replied, "I can tell. Senior sister, be careful in battle. After killing the extraterrestrial demons that are causing trouble this time, I have something to discuss with you." Mu Baiyu's voice had calmed down a lot. After saying that, she continued to fight with Black River. With Night Sorrow's help, Black River was getting more and more passive. At this moment, Jing Yun activated the array set up by Yuan Tianji. Could it be that the Sect Master has returned? The moment the array was activated, Ning Changhe, who was fighting with Yuan Tianji, was a little stunned. This was because the Tianyun School's Sect Protecting Array could only be activated by the Sect Master. I'm not afraid to tell you that this isn't a Sect Protecting Array. It's an array that I spent countless years to set up. Yuan Tianji laughed and said, "Now, Baiyu's strength is no longer inferior to the Divine King. With the help of the array, none of you will be able to escape today." Yuan Tianji, I didn't expect you to set up such an array without anyone noticing. You're 100 times more scheming than Ho Jun. When the array was activated, Ning Changhe immediately felt a huge pressure, which caused his strength to drop from the level of a middle-level Divine King to that of a low-level Divine King. Such a huge pressure could completely affect the direction of this battle. He, who was originally very crazy, seemed to have calmed down a lot in an instant. This isn't good. I can't hold on any longer. We don't stand a chance in today's battle. Ning Changhe was still holding on under Yuan Tianji's attack. Black Star, who was fighting with Tan Xingfeng, could not hold on any longer. Now that the array was activated, they had no chance to escape even if they wanted to. Since we don't even have a chance to escape, let's kill a few more people. Ning Changhe, who had calmed down, locked his gaze on Night Sorrow during the battle. He said coldly, "Everyone, cooperate with me to kill this exalted god. He has the power of merit protecting him. If he grows up, he will become a huge threat to the extraterrestrial demons. All right, let's kill this exalted god first, then find a chance to kill more people." Black Star couldn't resist Tan Xingfeng's attack anymore. It responded and then flew to the nearest mountain. It could feel that there were many living beings on the mountain, and they wanted to blow up the entire mountain with self-detonation. Oh no, hurry up and stop him. Most of the people on this mountain are Night Sorrow's clansmen. Yuan Tianji, who saw through Black Star's intention, immediately shouted at Tan Xingfeng. The mountain that Black Star was flying toward belonged to Jing Yun. Most of the cultivators on the mountain were from the Night Moon Dynasty. This was the arrangement of Sikong Chuyu. What? You said that most of the people on this mountain are Night Sorrow's clansmen? Chapter 2636. It was a net-shaped treasure, and its grade was between King and Dominator grade. After Tan Xingfeng threw it out, It immediately turned into a huge net that covered the sky and covered Black Star's position. From Black Star's point of view, this net was like the sky and covering the earth. There was no way to avoid it at all. He hid in the void and wanted to avoid it, but he was still wrapped up by the huge net. Evil spirit, you won't be able to do anything in front of me. After keeping Black Star in the net, Tan Qingfeng sneered. He hated the extraterrestrial demon in front of him very much, but he felt that it was more important to have a good relationship with Night Sorrow. After stopping the extraterrestrial demon from blowing up a mountain where Night Sorrow's people were, he was in a good mood. Night Sorrow, I'll leave this extraterrestrial demon to you. You control the bottle. With just a thought, this extraterrestrial demon's soul will be destroyed. After keeping Black Star in a transparent bottle divine weapon, Tan Qingfeng handed it to Night Sorrow. He then continued to participate in the battle with the other extraterrestrial demons. Thank you, Sect Leader Tan, for saving my people from Night Sorrow. Although Tan Qingfeng was trying to be friendly, he did play a role in turning the tide at the critical moment. Night Sorrow was very grateful and thanked him. Night Sorrow, you're welcome. When you rise in the future, just take care of me. Tan Qingfeng, who was fighting with the other extraterrestrial demons, replied with a smile. With his participation, Ning Changhe and the other extraterrestrial demons couldn't find a chance to self-destruct even if they wanted to. In less than 2 hours, they were all killed one after another. Night Sorrow, I heard that your eyes are very special and can see through all evil spirits. Follow me and check out the entire Tianyan school. After killing Ning Changhe and the others who were causing trouble, Yuan Tianji looked at Night Sorrow and said. When he heard this, Mu Baiyu shot his gaze at Yishan and sent a voice transmission. Don't forget what I said. Okay, I got it. Night Sorrow opened his mouth to reply. On the surface, he was replying to Yuan Tianji, but in reality, he was also replying to Mu Baiyu. After that, he followed Yuan Tianji and walked through the entire Tianyan school, ferreting out all the people who had the evil aura of the heavenly demon. Our Tianyan school has gone through a great calamity. Although our numbers have been greatly reduced and our strength has decreased by nearly 50%, we have finally returned to the Orthodox school. This is a great thing. After the matter was settled, Yuan Tianji said something at the banquet. He looked at Tan Qingfeng and Fan Xianyun and said, I have to thank the two of you for your generous help today. Otherwise, Tianyan school would not have been able to contend against so many extraterrestrial demons. You don't have to be so courteous, Vice Sect Leader Yuan. When I made my move, it was because of Night Sorrow. Tan Qingfeng looked at Night Sorrow with a smile and said enviously, Your Tianyan school is really lucky to have Night Sorrow as a disciple. Haha, everything is predestined. In fact, Night Sorrow chose to join Tianyan school for the sake of the Heavenly Phoenix Fortune Pill. Yuan Tianji explained with a smile and continued, Right now, the clues to the Heavenly Phoenix Fortune Pill are not clear, but I have already sent people to investigate. I believe there will be results soon. Thank you, Vice Sect Leader Yuan. Night Sorrow heard this and cupped his hands. Long Tianqing was currently helping him with the matter of Wu Lingfei. He naturally did not want to let her down. He hoped to refine the Heavenly Phoenix Fortune Pill as soon as possible and save Jin Yuan. Night Sorrow, recently, I am preparing to officially become the acting sect leader. What do you think of this? Yuan Tianji continued. Since Tan Qingfeng's arrival, he had been more polite to Night Sorrow and valued his opinion. As a disciple, Night Sorrow has no right to speak about the major matters of the sect. Night Sorrow looked at Yuan Tianji and said, But a country cannot be without a ruler for a day, and a sect cannot be without a leader. Vice Sect Leader Yuan becoming the acting sect leader is imperative. The other elders in Baiyu, what do you think? After asking Night Sorrow, Yuan Tianji looked at Lu Qingyuan, Mu Baiyu, and the others. The others naturally did not have any objections. They all felt that this matter was a matter of course, and there was nothing inappropriate about it. In that case, I, Yuan Tianji, will become the acting sect leader of Tianyan School from now on. As for the ceremony, there is no need to worry about it. Yuan Tianji raised his wine cup and said, Let me toast everyone. Then, he tilted his head back and drank. Yuan Tianji becoming the acting sect leader of Tianyun School was something that everyone expected, so everyone was in a good mood. But at this time, Night Sorrow said worriedly, "Everyone, I'm thinking that since so many heavenly demons have infiltrated Tianyun School, will the other sects encounter the same thing? Or even, could there be a few sects that have been completely controlled by the heavenly demons, just like Soaring Heaven Sect? What you said is very reasonable. It seems that we can't go directly to Soaring Heaven Sect, but should go to the other sects first." Tan Xingfeng immediately stood up and said, "If the situation was really that serious, it would be a test of life and death for Cloud Fairy Continent. After all, if it weren't for Night Sorrow's influence, Tianyun School would have been completely destroyed. Indeed, we will immediately organize the top experts to go to the other sects to support them. As for Tianyun School, although it will be empty inside, there's an array to prevent ordinary people from attacking." Yuan Tianji thought for a while, then continued to organize the team. Night Sorrow, Zhuang Qing, the Divine King, Lu Qing, Mu Baiyu, and the others were all on the list. Saving people is like putting out a fire. This matter must be done as soon as possible. We will set off immediately. Qing Yuan, take out the Heavenly Cloud Shuttle. After counting the elite team of 20 people, Yuan Tianji spoke to everyone and had Lu Qingyuan take out the Heavenly Cloud Shuttle, ready to take everyone with him. Sect leader, Night Sorrow still has something to deal with, so he won't be coming this time. When everyone gathered, Night Sorrow said, in the battle with the Divine King, he couldn't intervene at all. He estimated that the battles of the other sects were the same, so he would be a burden if he went. Moreover, Night Sorrow had decided that no matter what, he had to rescue Wu Lingfei first before doing anything else. Otherwise, he would never be able to let go of a huge stone in his heart. Since you have thought about it, then stay. If you want to do something, if you need the sect's help, you could just tell us. Yuan Tianji said to Yishang and transmitted his voice, "Don't let anyone get close to the sect's formation. Now, the my Tianyun School is empty. If the array closes, the consequences will be unimaginable. Sect leader, I will take care of this matter." After replying to Yuan Tianji, Night Sorrow said goodbye to everyone. Everyone have a safe trip. Wait, I still have something to say. Chapter 2637. You and Night Sorrow are both exceptional genius disciples of my Tianyun School. We should have a good exchange. Hearing Mu Baiyu's words, Yuan Tianji said politely and continued, "No need to rush. We will wait for you." Then he and Tan Xingfeng talked about Night Sorrow. Mu Baiyu looked at Night Sorrow and said, "To avoid delaying everyone's time, let's talk inside my spatial artifact. My spatial artifact can accelerate and decelerate 20 times. Senior sister, let's go inside my spatial artifact." Hearing that the other party's spatial artifact could accelerate and decelerate 20 times, Night Sorrow replied. His clear sky pagoda could accelerate 100 times, which was much stronger than Mu Baiyu's. All right. Hearing Night Sorrow's words, Mu Baiyu analyzed that his spatial artifact might be more powerful than the Time Rule, and entered the clear sky pagoda without any hesitation. It is indeed much better than my spatial artifact. How many times can you accelerate here? After entering the clear sky pagoda, Mu Baiyu immediately asked with interest. Exactly 100 times. Night Sorrow answered honestly. 100 times. Mu Baiyu's expression changed. She was a cultivation maniac, and she usually cultivated inside her spatial artifact. Hearing that Night Sorrow's clear sky pagoda could accelerate 100 times, she really wanted to buy it, but after thinking about it, she felt that it was inappropriate. Thus, she said seriously, "Let's get to the point. But before that, you have to swear that you will not tell anyone what you heard today." "All right, Night Sorrow, swear that I will not say anything today, or else I am willing to suffer the punishment of the Heavenly Tao." Night Sorrow raised his finger and swore the Heavenly Tao oath. In fact, even if he didn't swear, he naturally wouldn't reveal it casually. "Qing Yu and I came from the same ancient world. Our ancient world was later occupied by an evil alien race, and almost all of our clansmen were slaughtered. Mu Baiyu said and continued, I was put on a mask by the clansman's prophet since I was born. Even Xingyu didn't know that I was the elder sister and not the elder brother. The prophet once said that the first person to discover that I am a woman will be able to help me become the ruler and successfully avenge my clansmen. With my current abilities, helping you become a sovereign is nothing more than a fantasy. Knight Sorrow shrugged when he heard Mu Baiyu's words. Right now, he was only an intermediate high god. Let alone a ruler, he was still a long way from becoming a divine monarch. There's no such thing as time in the god realm. Given your talent, it's only a matter of time before you become a sovereign. That's something everyone knows. Once you become a sovereign, you can come back and help me. Wouldn't that work? Mu Baiyu slowly took off the mask on his face, revealing a sorrowful and peerless face. Mu Baiyu's face was so beautiful that it was a little soul-stirring. It could be said that it was at a level that could cause the downfall of a country. Even though Knight Sorrow had seen countless beauties, this was the first time he had seen such a stunning beauty. Although his wives were all outstanding beauties, none of them had such a unique temperament that made one want to take pity on them. At this moment, Knight Sorrow somewhat understood why the prophet of the Feather Clan had put on a mask for him. It was because it could save him a lot of unnecessary trouble. But after I become the Divine King, I might be gone for a long time. Knight Sorrow explained. As for what the Phoenix Ancestor had said and the Eternal Supreme Realm, he naturally wouldn't mention it. It's fine. When you become the Divine King, I'll go with you wherever you go. Mu Baiyu said. Then she asked, Knight Sorrow, I heard that you have many beautiful wives. It's like this. I originally had 6 wives, but now I'm about to have a 7th. Yishang didn't try to hide anything and spoke openly. Oh, the 7th wife is the new Tianyun School's Jingyun, right? She's very talented. At the very least, she can become the Divine King. Mu Baiyu was very familiar with the matters of the Tianyun School. Yes, it's her. Since Senior's sister has explained everything, shall we leave? Knight Sorrow looked at Mu Baiyu and said. At this moment, Mu Baiyu, who had recovered her female voice, said, The prophet has made a prophecy. The fetters between us will be born after we do the deed. Let us begin now. What? That's not right, Senior's sister. Knight Sorrow awkwardly responded to Mu Baiyu's words out of the blue. Wasn't the deed between husband and wife supposed to be that kind of thing? There's nothing wrong with it. Since it's a prophecy, let's make it come true. After saying that, Mu Baiyu began to undress. The white silk binding her chest was removed, and her graceful figure was gradually revealed. Senior sister, this isn't right. Let's leave. If you want to become a ruler, I'll help you in the future. Knight Sorrow turned his head away, not daring to look any further. Although he was already a high god, he was still a hot-blooded man. Seeing Mu Baiyu's pitiful appearance, which made people want to take pity on her with just a glance, Yi Shiwen had a strange reaction. No, the prophet's prophecies have never been wrong. Mu Baiyu explained and continued. If you don't cooperate with Senior Sister, then Senior Sister will speak with her strength. Senior Sister, this isn't right. Let's leave. Knight Sorrow said helplessly. What the hell is this? The legendary invincible Mu Baiyu was not only a woman, but she also wanted to do that kind of thing with him. You're a man, and you have a lot of wives. What are you afraid of? I'm just an inexperienced woman. I'm not afraid. Although Mu Baiyu sounded a little domineering when she said this, her face was already flushed red. After saying this, she didn't wait for Knight Sorrow to react. She unleashed her powerful divine domain and enveloped him within it. Although she was an invincible divine sovereign, her true battle strength was not inferior to an ordinary divine king. Knight Sorrow, who was suppressed by her divine domain, was unable to resist at all. He was directly pushed to the ground of the clear sky pagoda. Mu Baiyu, who was riding on Knight Sorrow's body, used some methods to remove the blue phoenix battle armor and other clothes from his body. Then she began to move. However, Mu Baiyu clearly didn't have any experience in this aspect. Although they were already at this stage, the two didn't take the final step. Night Sorrow, who was being pressed down by Mu Baiyu's body, was being tortured to the point of unbearable pain. However, he couldn't cry out in pain. If it was one of his wives, or even Jingyan on top of him, Night Sorrow would have chosen to be more direct. At this moment, he could only endure silently. In the clear sky pagoda, for the 6 hours passed like this. Mu Baiyu, whose face was flushed red, finally stopped. She got down from Night Sorrow's body and put on her clothes. She said, "You don't need to take responsibility for me. You just need to help me become a sovereign." What kind of logic is this? Is this how I owe you a favor? Hearing Mu Baiyu's words, Night Sorrow sullenly thought to himself. However, when such a thing happened between a man and a woman, no matter how one looked at it, the man was the one taking advantage. He didn't open his mouth to refute. Chapter 2638. When he returned to Night Moon, Night Sorrow's body still had some reaction, but he was secretly remorseful for a while. Seeing that Night Sorrow had returned, Sikong Chiyu immediately asked with concern, "Husband, is the battle outside over? How was it? Did our Tianyin school successfully repel the extraterrestrial demons?" "Of course we've repelled them, including Ning Changhe. The 5 divine kings who caused trouble have all been killed." As Night Sorrow spoke, he took out the bottle that Tan Xingfeng had given him and said, "This is one of the divine kings of the extraterrestrial demons. When I'm free, I'll choose to kill him directly and turn him into merit power. One evil aura. Even through the bottle, I can feel the chilling evil." 13. Quickly keep it. Yang Lei, who had walked over, felt uncomfortable facing the bottle and quickly spoke up. "All right, I'll keep it. I won't take it out again." Night Sorrow quickly kept the bottle and looked at everyone. Just now, Tianyin School was in chaos. Were there any casualties in Night Moon Dynasty? Everyone has been staying at Night Moon Peak and Endless Peak. They didn't participate in the battle. No one was injured or missing. Lin Piaomiao, who had just done a head count, spoke up. Now that the sovereign bloodline in her body was growing, her aura was also getting stronger. Sensing the change in Lin Piaomiao's aura, Night Sorrow immediately said, "Sister Xianair, you should hurry up and learn a secret technique to suppress your aura. This can't go on." Lin Piaomiao's aura was getting stronger and stronger. It even gave people a terrifying feeling. Night Sorrow was worried that she would be targeted by sovereigns in the future. After all, to become a sovereign, one would need the sovereign origin. Lin Piaomiao's sovereign bloodline contained the sovereign origin. If the sovereigns found out, the consequences would be unimaginable. "All right, I'll do my best to suppress the bloodline." After Night Sorrow gave his instructions, Lin Piaomiao nodded and asked with a smile, "I can consider this matter at length. But you and Jing Yun's matter can't be delayed any longer, right?" "Exactly. There's no time like the present. Let's set the date for today." Yang Lei responded and continued. "Although it's a little rude to Jing Yun, most of us have been through this. Let's not stick to those complicated formalities." What are you talking about?" Hearing Lin Piaomiao and Yang Lei's words, Jing Yun blushed. "It's settled then. You don't have to be shy. Women have to go through these things in the end." Sikong Chiyu smiled and said, "We'll take you to meet your parents, grandfather, and the others." Then, under Jing Yun's reluctance, she and Night Sorrow were dragged by the girls to greet Night Sorrow's father, Yi Wuyo, and the others. After paying respects to his parents, he enjoyed the banquet. Night Sorrow and Jing Yun were escorted by Dechira to a room that had been decorated with festive colors. Little sister Jing Yun is still young. Treat her gently. Before leaving, Dechira instructed with a smile. Thinking back to his first time with Dechira, Night Sorrow felt that it was similar to the incident with Mu Baiyu. Although he expelled these thoughts from his mind, he looked at Jing Yun and said, "Jing Yun, from today onwards, you and I are husband and wife. I will take good care of you. Thank you for taking care of Night Moon's people along the way." Jing Yun replied with a red face. She felt that the air was a little hot and the atmosphere was a little dry. "The wedding was a little casual, but I won't be casual about my feelings for you. Night Sorrow hugged Jing Yun, who was sitting on the chair by the waist. He had been tortured by Mu Baiyu just now and couldn't hold it in anymore. Chiyu told me about the matters between men and women. Can I be on top? Night Sorrow slowly placed Jing Yun on the bed and asked shyly. When she said this, her face was so red that it looked like it could drip water. Why must you be on top? Night Sorrow asked curiously. Chiyu said that it would be more comfortable. Jing Yun said softly and removed her clothes and climbed on a Night Sorrow's body. What fate! I'm being pressed down again. Night Sorrow, who was being pressed down by Jing Yun, discovered that Jing Yun was similar to Mu Baiyu. She didn't know how to distance herself. This time, he didn't hesitate and helped Jing Yun complete her transformation amidst her tears. When the sun rose the next day, Jing Yun, who had changed her hair accessories, looked obviously different from before. How is it, little 13? Did you feel good in the bridal chamber? Yang Lei asked with a fake smile when they were about to eat breakfast. This. Night Sorrow chuckled. Jing Yun, let's forget about this matter. You better control yourself in the future. If something like this happens again, we'll teach you a lesson. Yang Lei snorted and lectured Night Sorrow. Yes. You're right, senior sister. Night Sorrow hurriedly nodded. He thought of Mu Baiyu and thought to himself, my peach blossoms are really strange. Sikong Chiyu didn't dwell on this matter. She asked, Sect Master and the others have already gone to the other sects to help. You didn't go with them. Do you have any plans? I'm going to save Aunt Faye first. If I don't save her, I won't be able to rest easy. Night Sorrow explained his plans. In the blink of an eye, many years had passed since Wu Lingfei had been captured. He had ascended to the middle high god level. It was time to move. Is there any news from Senior Tianqing? Sikong Chuyu continued. No, but I have a way to contact her. As long as I reach the Purple Mansion Divine Lord, I should be able to find Senior Tianqing. Night Sorrow looked at his wives and said, this matter isn't easy to handle. It might take some time. Take good care of yourselves. AI, you've only been back for a few days, and you're leaving again. Aloi was a little sad to hear in Night Sorrow's words. AI, Night Sorrow felt a little upset when he saw Aloi's expression. If nothing unexpected happened, after he became the Divine King, he would follow Paragon Phoenix Ancestor to the Eternal Supreme Realm. At that time, who knew how long it would take for him to return and reunite with his family? Datura chuckled when he saw the tense atmosphere. We're going to save Aunt Faye anyway. A day or two won't make much of difference. We've all been separated for some time, but let's accompany our husband tonight. Bah! Yang Lei immediately snorted when she heard Dachira's words. But then she said, but little 13's abilities are indeed getting stronger and stronger. I'm sure Sister Jing Yun won't be able to satisfy him. Let's do as Aluo says. Haha, that's not a good idea, is it? Night Sorrow refused on the surface, but he was inwardly overjoyed. After being tortured by Mu Baiyu, he didn't dare to go too far when he was with Jing Yun. He truly did need to release himself. Look at you. You're saying no, but you're already grinning. Men really are lustful creatures. Chapter 2639. Am I that lustful? Night Sorrow asked with a smile. He felt that he had hidden it well and shouldn't be seen through. However, his wives knew their husband very well and began to mock him one after another. But after that, they felt sorry for Yishang, who had fought so hard, so they did everything they could to let him enjoy the treatment of an emperor. This drawn-out war lasted for an entire 7 days. In fact, Night Sorrow felt that he could still fight. But on this day, Long Tianqing unexpectedly came to Tianyan School. Hearing the news of Senior Long Tianqing's arrival, Night Sorrow and his wives quickly got out of their ridiculous state. Sikong Chuyu and the others wanted to get up and greet Long Tianqing, but their bodies couldn't take it anymore. In the end, only Lin Piaomiao, who had been treated by Long Tianqing, got up and accompanied Night Sorrow to see Long Tianqing. Night Sorrow brought Lin Piaomiao into Night Moon Peak's guest hall. He saw Long Tianqing sitting on a chair and drinking tea. He immediately greeted, Senior Tianqing, you're here? How is Gajin Yuan? He cultivated the 33 heavens star soul secret technique that you gave him. His soul has completely recovered. He's only missing his body. If he can get the Heavenly Phoenix's 1,000 transformations pill, he should be able to recover completely. Long Tianqing's face was filled with joy. She thought that Gajin Yuan had died long ago. She didn't expect him to have a chance to recover completely. Hearing this, Knight's sorrow continued. Senior Tianqing, I haven't found the recipe for the Heavenly Phoenix's 1,000 transformations pill. Currently, someone is helping to find clues. I believe that we will receive news soon. You and Gajin Yuan don't have to rush. It's nothing. The most precious thing in the realm of gods is time, but also the least valuable thing. We can afford to wait. Long Tianqing nodded and looked at Knight's sorrow. You've broken through to High God. Your aura is very strong. That's good, but you need to become stronger. Senior Tianqing, do you have something to say? Knight's sorrow was puzzled. She mentioned his strength. Obviously, she had something to say. Yes. This matter involves your concubine Wu. Long Tianqing confirmed. When they discovered that Wu Lingfei possessed the pure Ice Phoenix bloodline, they refused to release her no matter what. However, when I suggested that you and Ling Yun should have a fair fight, they agreed. In Ling Yun's opinion, it's impossible for you to catch up to him in terms of strength within a short period of time. That's why he agreed to the bet. Senior Tianqing's words just now mean that the current me is not his match. Knight's sorrow was elated to hear that Ling Yun had agreed to the bet. Ling Yun had always been a shadow in his heart, and he had to defeat him with his own hands. According to my judgment, even though you're very strong and are ranked 3rd on the upper god list, you shouldn't be Ling Yun's opponent at the moment. Initially, he had not stood out too much on the god list, but after absorbing the essence of the firmament, his strength had soared by leaps and bounds. A few days ago, he even succeeded in challenging Yun Zhe, who was ranked 1st on the divine list. Now that he has become a divine lord, his strength should be very powerful. Long Tianqing explained the ins and outs of the matter. In the end, the reason why Ling Yun had become so strong was because he had plundered some of Night Sorrow's luck and obtained the firmament's essence that originally belonged to him. No matter how strong he becomes, I will definitely take back what belongs to me with my own hands. Night Sorrow's body was filled with a strong fighting spirit. Listen to me first. Ling Yun agreed to the bet, but he has another request. That is within 100 years, and you need to find the origin essence. Long Tianqing took a sip of tea and said, Origin essence, what is that? Night Sorrow asked in confusion. He had read many books in the firmament, but he had never heard of something like the origin essence. From a name, you can tell that it has something to do with the firmament's essence. It is a kind of crystal formed by the firmament's essence. After countless years of baptism, it finally evolved into the most precious sovereign-level material in the firmament, the origin essence. Long Tianqing described the situation and said, I've already helped you investigate it. Recently, an ancient world that only high gods can enter has been discovered in the god realm. There's the aura of origin essence in there. You can go there and look for opportunities to improve your strength. In my opinion, if you want to defeat Ling Yun, you need to at least become a high god. After all, his current strength has already surpassed the Purple Mansion Divine Lords on the Divine Lord list. Thank you, Senior Tianqing, for being so considerate of Night Sorrow. Where's the ancient world you're talking about? Night Sorrow asked. Ling Yun's request for the origin essence was clearly unfair, but for Wu Lingfei's safety, he did not hesitate to do his best to find it. Finding the origin essence for Ling Yun was not a big deal, as long as he could kill Ling Yun. The ancient world is under the rule of all heaven. I will take you there. However, you must be prepared. There are many dangers in the ancient world, and there may even be the existence of the Divine King. Moreover, the high gods at the ruler's manors have never revealed themselves will all enter. After all, no one wants to miss out on a sovereign-level material. Long Tianqing explained to Yishang about the god realm's ranking list. In the eyes of some, the strongest high gods were the number 1 high gods, Yunzhe, or number 2 high gods, Xinyuan Yufeng. In reality, they were very likely to be hidden talents of the ruler's manners. After all, there were no sovereigns in the firmament. The 7 sovereigns were the strongest forces in the firmament. Their foundation was far beyond the reach of the other forces in the firmament. Night Sorrow has also speculated about what Senior Tianqing said. In my opinion, the current high god list is indeed lacking in quality. When Night Sorrow was fighting against Wu Li, Xin Yuan Changye, and the other high gods on the firmament god list, he was actually wondering if there were other hidden high gods in the firmament. Now that he had an answer, he was filled with a strong desire to fight. Your judgment is correct. Actually, it's not just the high gods list. Even the feather god list, which you once occupied first place, is the same. Long Tianqing continued. You should go say goodbye to your family. We will set off as soon as possible. Senior Tianqing, Night Sorrow has a request. Night Sorrow mentioned that Geng Chen's Dantian had been destroyed, hoping that she could help. Long Tianqing pondered for a moment, then said, Then we will stay for 7 days. We will set off on time after 7 days. Night Sorrow thanks Senior Tianqing on behalf of my friend. Night Sorrow thanked her and immediately ordered someone to find Geng Chen. Under Long Tianqing's treatment, Geng Chen's Dantian quickly recovered. After treating him, Long Tianqing brought Night Sorrow to the ancient world under the rule of all heaven. Night Sorrow was looking forward to this trip to the ancient world. Chapter 2640. Night Sorrow followed Long Tianqing to the ancient world of the all-heaven ruler's domain. This newly discovered ancient world was completely under the control of the all-heaven ruler's manor. Every high god who wanted to enter had to pay 300,000 deity crystals. This was a sky-high price for ordinary high gods. Fortunately, Night Sorrow had accumulated a lot of wealth. Although he was unhappy, he still paid 300,000 deity crystals. However, after Night Sorrow paid the deity crystals, he did not get the opportunity to enter the ancient world immediately. It turned out that the all-heaven ruler had ordered that the high gods of the all-heaven ruler's manor would be the first to explore the ancient world for a year before other high gods could enter. When Night Sorrow arrived, the high gods of the all-heaven ruler's domain had only been in for 7 months. He would have to wait for 5 months. Since we're already here, we might as well take things as they come. Find a city to settle down in, and I'll go to Seaside City. After you come out of the ancient world, find me at Jinyuan's cave residence. Long Tianqing was already used to this kind of thing. She brought Night Sorrow to Wanlin City, the city closest to the ancient world. After helping Night Sorrow purchase a residence to rest in, she left for Seaside City. This courtyard is quite elegant. 5 months is just the right time to improve my strength. After setting up a formation array for the courtyard, Night Sorrow entered the spatial artifact to cultivate. After breaking through to the intermediate high god realm, he had yet to consolidate his cultivation. This was a good opportunity. Cultivation knew no time. In the blink of an eye, 4 months had passed in the divine realm. Night Sorrow, who had been cultivating in the clear sky pagoda, had spent 33 years. After so many years of consolidation, he had completely consolidated his intermediate high god realm and was not far from becoming a high god. This kind of cultivation speed would be a fantasy for others, but Night Sorrow did not feel any discomfort. With the help of the power of virtue, he would not be stuck in a bottleneck during his cultivation. I wonder which high gods have come to the ancient world this time. It would be great if I could get some information. There was still 1 month before they entered the ancient world. Night Sorrow, who had finished his ascetic cultivation, had nothing to do, so he went to the city to look for information stores like the Secret Pavilion. Although he had found them, the results were not ideal. This was because the high gods who had come this time were rather mysterious. Some of them had not even fought in public. It could be said that this trip to the ancient world was a complete encounter. Coincidentally, Night Sorrow met Murong Tsai of the Heavenly Immortal Sect on the street. At this moment, Murong Tsai was walking with 2 male cultivators with very strong auras. These 2 were both high gods, but their strength was clearly above Murong Tsai's. Night Sorrow could tell with a single glance that they were probably geniuses hidden by the sovereign's manner. Seeing Yishang on the street, Muronkai Yi was obviously pleasantly surprised. Her face bloomed with a happy smile. She took a few steps forward and greeted him. Yishang, I guess that you would come, but I didn't expect to meet you here. Seeing Muronkai Yi greet a male cultivator so happily, the faces of the two male cultivators behind her darkened significantly. Clearly, the two of them were interested in Muronkai Yi. Night Sorrow was also very happy to meet Muronkai Yi. He smiled and replied, "Meeting you here is truly a pleasant surprise." He, Night Sorrow, come, let me introduce you to these two senior brothers. Although the two of them are not on the god list, they have the strength to fight for first place. Muronkai Yi smiled and led Night Sorrow to Shang Shuyuan and Zhu Qing. She introduced, "This is Night Sorrow, and these are my senior brothers Shang Shuyuan and Zhu Qing. Greetings, senior brothers." Hearing the surname Shang Shuyuan, Night Sorrow thought of Shang Shuyan and Sovereign Voiceless Sound. He very politely called them senior brothers. After all, Shang Shuyan had left a good impression on him, and Sovereign Voiceless Sound had helped him block Sovereign Darkmoon. This was a favor that Night Sorrow would remember. "Senior brother? Who are you? Are you qualified to call me senior brother Shang Shuyuan?" However, hearing Night Sorrow call him senior brother, Shang Shuyuan's tone was cold and disdainful. Zhu Qing didn't even speak. She just sneered, her eyes full of arrogance. "Senior brother, Shang Shuyuan. What do you mean?" Seeing Shang Shuyuan and Zhu Qing acting so arrogantly, Muronkai Yi, who was originally smiling, immediately became gloomy. In her opinion, Night Sorrow was one of her most important friends. Even Shang Shuyuan and Zhu Qing's status was inferior to his. "What do I mean? I, Shang Shuyuan, come from the Sovereign Clan and have the talent to challenge the first place on the god list. How can anyone call me senior brother?" Shang Shuyuan said coldly. He looked at Night Sorrow and said, "For the sake of Kai Yi, I will forgive your disrespect today." Scram. "Ha ha ha. Forgive my disrespect?" Night Sorrow didn't get angry. Instead, he laughed and asked, "You talk so big. The Sovereign Clear Sound know?" Sovereign Clear Sound gave people an amiable feeling. He didn't expect her junior to talk so big. He was a little unhappy. Sovereign Clear Sound is high and mighty. Is she someone you can call? When Night Sorrow said Sovereign Clear Sound's name, Shang Shuyuan's battle intent immediately rose. He looked like he wanted to kill someone. No matter how strong you are, even if you are a sovereign, it's just a name. Why can't I call her that? Even a clay figurine had a temper. Yishan was already enraged by Shang Shuyuan. The seven sovereigns were indeed high and mighty and practically ruled the god realm. However, there was always someone stronger. To the god realm, the more important ones were the sovereigns who didn't leave their names behind but fought in the eternal supreme world. After experiencing the matter of Sovereign Ancestor Phoenix, Night Sorrow was already used to facing sovereigns. "Bastard, you are treacherous. Sovereigns are high and mighty. You can't judge them." Shang Shuyuan shouted and was about to attack. At this time, Murong Tsai stopped him and said, "Senior brother Shang Shuyuan, I don't know. You stayed in the family for too long and don't know how to interact. Or born in a sovereign family. You have a natural sense of superiority. But no matter what, today's matter is your fault. You need to apologize to Night Sorrow." "You want me to apologize to him? It's already good that I didn't kill him." Shang Xin looked at Murong Tsai with a trace of possessiveness. In fact, if not for her, although Shang Shuyuan was arrogant, he wouldn't go so far as to target Night Sorrow. "If you say so, then there's no need for us to travel together." Shang Shuyuan's arrogant face made Murong Tsai very angry. Her tone immediately became ice cold. "I didn't hear wrong, right? So, you're going to leave us two geniuses and travel together with him? This trash?" Shang Shuyuan said with a look of disbelief. "You're not afraid of dying in the ancient world? In my opinion, regardless of character or strength, Night Sorrow is stronger than you two. If he's trash, then there's no need for you two to exist. In addition, he saved my life in the last 7 sec tournament. I trust him very much. Chapter 2641. 7-Sect Grand Competition? That's just a game. It's limited to the Cloud Immortal Continent. There aren't many experts participating. Hearing Moron Kai mention the 7-Sect Grand Competition, Shang Su Yuan said disdainfully, "If I was alive, Qing would have easily won the championship. It's not important whether he won the championship or not. What's important is a person's cultivation and character." Moron Kai replied and continued, "Night Sorrow is the champion of the High God group in this 7-Sect Grand Competition. I don't see him talking about it. This is a person's magnanimity." Moron Kai, do you know what you're talking about? Have you been brainwashed by this guy? Zhu Qing, who hadn't spoken yet, said coldly, "Do you know what kind of punishment people will receive for slandering the people of the dominant clans?" Quickly apologized to senior brother Shang Su. In his eyes, the people of the dominant clans were high and mighty. No one could disrespect them. Although Zhu Qing was a bit stronger than Shang Su Yuan, she had always regarded him as the leader. "I believe that Lord Qing isn't so narrow-minded." Moron Kai snorted coldly and said, "After all, she treated Night Sorrow as an equal." Moron Kai, I originally thought that you were a rare genius for cultivating to your current level in the Heavenly Immortal Sect. Now it seems that your brain isn't working well. Immediately take your lover and disappear in front of me. Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite. Shang Su Yuan didn't believe that Lord Qing would treat Night Sorrow as an equal, so he immediately berated her. Whose brain isn't working well? Hearing Shang Su Yuan use such words to attack Moron Cai, Yishang asked with a cold face. "Oh, I wanted to spare your life, but I didn't expect that you would recklessly come forward. How could a piece of trash like you, who doesn't know when to advance or retreat, possibly obtain the appreciation of the Lord Sovereign and treat him as a peer?" Shang Su Yuan coldly looked at Night Sorrow and said, "Recently, All Heaven Ruler ordered that no one is allowed to fight in the city. Since you're so arrogant, you won't refuse my challenge, right?" In Shang Su Yuan's mind, as long as the opponent wasn't from the dominant clans, he wasn't afraid. Originally, I had a good impression of Shang Su family because of Lord Qing. I hope you're just a parasite in the family. If you want to fight, then Night Sorrow, will accompany you. Just think of it as helping He Jimin Voiceless discipline her clansmen. The arrogance of the upper void energy made Night Sorrow very unhappy. He had no reason to be afraid of cultivators of the same level. Seeing Night Sorrow agree with Su Yuan, Moron Cai's face immediately changed. She said, "Night Sorrow, don't fight with him. He is a genius of the dominant family who relies on resources. If you hurt him, he might retaliate." She wasn't worried about Night Sorrow's strength at all. "It's fine. I believe that He Jimin Voiceless isn't such a person," Night Sorrow said nonchalantly. Night Sorrow had a very good impression of Ruler Voiceless sound. She didn't believe that she was an unreasonable person. He Jimin Clear Sound naturally wouldn't target you. However, it's inevitable that there will be parasites in the family. How good can a person who can raise Shang Su Yuan be? Moron Kai transmitted her voice to Night Sorrow. The dominant clans were invincible existences in the divine world. No one dared to offend them. Moron Kai felt that if Night Sorrow injured Shang Su Yuan, he might suffer a very serious blow. "It's fine. As long as I stand on reason, Night Sorrow, am not afraid of anyone targeting me." Night Sorrow replied Moron Kai. Then, he looked at Shang Su Yuan and said, "Let's go. For Moron Cai's sake, I won't kill you. However, a lesson is unavoidable. Don't even think about going to the ancient world this time." Shang Su Yuan's aura was relatively strong. He was even stronger than Wu Li, who Night Sorrow had defeated. "No need to say more. Let's go," Night Sorrow said. Then he flew out of the city with Moron Kai, Shang Su Yuan, and Zhu Qing. When they arrived at a desolate mountain, Shang Su Yuan said, "We are already outside the city. The Overlord of All Heaven's band does not include this place. Let's begin." "All right, make your move." Night Sorrow floated in the air. He did not immediately take out the reincarnation heavenly halberd. He wanted to see Shang Su Yuan's strength first. You're just a middle-high god. Why are you pretending to be an expert? Shang Su Yuan looked at Night Sorrow with disdain and ridiculed. You should make your move first. Otherwise, you might not have the chance to make your move. All right, let me see how strong the genius of the dominant clans is. Shang Su Yuan's arrogance made Night Sorrow unhappy. He immediately took out the reincarnation heavenly halberd and activated the 33 Heavens battle secret technique. Night Sorrow raised his strength to the highest level. Then he condensed his divine origin energy and struck out the reincarnation strike. Just as Shang Su Yuan was about to use his movement technique to dodge, Lin Yun executed the divine origin dragon lock array and imprisoned him within. Boom! Shang Su Yuan, who had not reacted to what was going on, was struck by the reincarnation strike. Although he was protected by an extremely high-grade defensive robe and did not suffer any serious injuries, his strength dropped by 1 level. He fell from the half-step Divine Lord realm to the upper High God realm. You're just SOSO. Night Sorrow, who had succeeded in 1 strike, did not stop. He executed the Divine Origin Dragon Lock array again and imprisoned Shang Su within. Then, he executed the Raging Flames Demon. When the Raging Flames Demon attacked Shang Su Yuan's Divine Soul, Night Sorrow did not stop and executed the Green Rock Soul, rending roar 3 times in a row, shaking Shang Su Yuan's Divine Soul to the brink of collapse. Under such circumstances, Night Sorrow did not stop. After the Divine Origin Dragon Lock array was broken, he executed the unstoppable Thunderbolt. Without waiting for Shang Su Yuan to dodge, he executed the even more powerful Virtuous Dragon Lock array. Shang Su Yuan, who originally thought that he could easily break out of the sealed space, quickly realized that he could not break out of the various trapping arrays. He could only continue to be beaten. Now that things had developed to this point, he felt that his face was hurting terribly. He had just said that if Night Sorrow did not attack, he would not have a chance to attack. Now, he was completely beaten up and had no strength to retaliate. This is a little lesson on behalf of Ruler Qingyin. In the future, remember to keep a low profile when you roam the pugilistic world. The divine world is not the Shang Su family, nor is it a region ruled by Qingyin. Not everyone will give you face. After a series of storm-like attacks, Shang Su Yuan was beaten to the point that he had no temper left. He wanted to retaliate, but he was powerless to do so. He felt extremely sullen in his heart. At this moment, Night Sorrow, who did not want to kill Shang Su, stopped and looked at him. You despicable and shameless person. What ability do you have to use underhanded means to plot against me? If you have the ability, let's fight fair and square. Shang Su Yuan, who had escaped from the sealed space, shouted indignantly. The battle just now was the most sullen battle in his life. There was no other battle. You're tuning into the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.